I'm pretty sure that I bullied him into getting young blood back.
Wait, what? Picking up a money shot in store is like picking up Monster Masune in a store. You just don't do it.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Panels on Pages. My name is Dalibor Zujovic. I am the indie hype man, and I am joined today by Jay Penumbra of comic book discourse fame on the internet, TikTok fame, and of course, the new rebranded podcast, Comics Unmasked. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely a pleasure. I've been excited about this. I actually this was a spontaneous idea because I was listening to your podcast, Catching Up, and you guys got into a pretty big conversation about piracy, and I was like, man, I've got some thoughts that like aren't necessarily in line with everyone, but like I feel like it'd be a good conversation. So that's why we're here today. So we're gonna talk about comic book piracy and impacts and ways to avoid it and how it harms and all the other things about it. Anything we could come up with, and then whatever else strikes the brain as these conversations happen.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
So I want to ask you first, what was your first sort of like interaction with piracy? Is this something like you heard about online, or is it something you participated in early on? Like,
So it's weird because like when it comes to, I remember like my first ever bootleg movie my dad ever got me from the guy next door was like the first Iron Man movie. So that was a fun thing. But when it comes to like pirating comic books, I noticed like early on when things were very new that there was things you could even find files for comic books on LimeWire, because that was around the time Marvel.com started having comic books, and like back when there was this great History Channel documentary called like comic books, like comic book superheroes unmasked, which is where I got the name from. And they were talking about how publishers were afraid of the new digital age way back when. And I was like, that's interesting. Y'all are worried about this in like 2003. Why are you stressed about this? And even then you saw like torrent files and stuff like that having comic book PDFs and whatnot. But like, it wasn't until I think high school, like around 2013, 2014, where I became like knowledgeable that things like were starting to be more prominent. And for me, I grew up like just reading stuff at the library. So like if I didn't have something on my pull list, it was just at the library for me. I never worried about like pirating because I didn't see a purpose in it. And like, yeah, I'll admit there was times where I fell on hard times. And before DC Infinite and Marvel Unlimited came about, there was a lot of back issue pirating. It was never current issue pirating because I felt like there was something morally just like I didn't like the concept.
fair enough, fair enough. See, my entry into it is I was there for the 2003. You know, I'm a little bit older than you. I was there for the early years, for the physical scan era.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. I like to tell a story. So I picked up the Squadron Supreme omnibus. Great read. The dice hit it. I read it pretty early on. And then right after that, I picked up I was like really into, I'm like, man, I like having this whole big collection. And I'd been dancing around picking up I always forget the damn name of it. Eve of Destruction, X-Men Eve of Destruction, still out of print, hard to find. It was like 350 online. And I'm like, I'm just not paying that much for an Omni. Like, I'm just not doing that. And it came up at half price books. I found one. It was like 212 or something like that, 215. And I had like a coupon, you know, they throw out those coupons every once in a while. So I like ran out there, picked it up. And again, like the dice were just real, like on, like, you got to read the recent thing. So I don't know if you're aware, but I rolled a read. So I have all this shit. So this is just indie. Mainstream is two of those over here. So like I turn around and I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know, I can't pick. So one day I just decided to roll, and so I rolled dice and flip coins to read, and it was like I bought it, and it was like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, the dice were like, cool, you're reading X-Men Eve of Destruction. And I was like, dope, okay, cool. And it was like most books that I had read, and ironically, I had read them bootleg. I'll full out admit to that. I read them bootleg, and I was behind. I mean, when I was bootlegging, I was behind a decade. You know what I mean? Like I was the stuff I was reading that was a decade old. I was nowhere near caught up.
Right.
And so I was reading this one, and I hit a page, and I'm like, why does this page look weird? It's so strange. Like the colors are different. It's like almost looks like it's got like a texture on it. I flip back and forth pages, and I'm like, huh. And then I'm like, oh shit, they scanned this page. I'm like,
Mm.
then it like kind of hit me because I'm a tech guy, like I got computers and stuff, and I'm like, I've lost data, and I'm like, man, it's you don't think about it, but like these big companies, they have data loss too. You know,
Hmm.
somebody deleted the wrong folder or drive went bad,
Oh, for sure.
stuff is gone forever. So your only option is to physically get a scan and put it in the book. And I was just like, it's hilarious. Because like at first, it was like one page, maybe two pages in like an issue of X-Men Forever, the first one. That
Mm.
was like meant to sort of tie up a bunch of like loose plot lines from like the 90s. That's where we found that was the definitive response to Who Killed Graydon Creed. It came out
Yep.
about 10 years after Graydon Creed has been killed. And so it was like one of those pages. And then I was like, oh, okay, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Finish that issue, and then the whole next issue was scanned. The whole next issue, I was like, damn, they lost a lot of data because that's significant. Like that's
Well, it's not even like loss of data because, like, when you really think about it, like, especially older, like silver and like Bronze Age stuff, there's a lot of it that just has to be scanned. That's why a lot of those like Marvel and DC Essentials, like giant thick
yeah,
books they put out back in the day were just like giant like chunks of white margins because they were trying to hide that it was scans a lot of the time. Like I remember I got this one giant Omni from a library that was like it was all Uncanny X-Men back in the day, and like so much of it was just giant margins cutting off where they obviously were running that through a scanner. And it's just like, I see what you're doing, but maybe just like have a restoration process for your older stuff, maybe
yeah.
actually put that effort in a little bit. But now we're seeing with things like Marvel Unlimited, they're actually trying to go back and touch stuff up here and there when they can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I've got a couple of the older, like late 90s, early 2000s Masterworks trades,
Mm,
and those definitely have like an older look to them
yeah.
than all the newer stuff, all the new Omnis and stuff that they've been releasing. So it's like you definitely see the difference. They're definitely putting in a lot of work. I actually came across, I was at Barnes and Noble last night. I was supposed to go to an industry night comic book
Mm,
shop, and they canceled it, and I didn't realize. I didn't check the page. I just went. Drove by and I
okay.
was like, oh, the lights are off. So they're clearly not here. So I'm just going to keep driving. Ended up at a Barnes and Noble and found this. I guess it's a series of books, but it's called Panel by Panel.
Mm,
It's by like one of the publishers. It's like one of the, like a Penguin Random House, so like one of those.
okay.
But it's literally just like a big hardcover, and it's just every page is a single panel, and it's like
Mm,
original Fantastic Four run. So this was like the first like 6 or 7 issues of Fantastic Four, and
okay.
every these like massive oversized pages of just one single panel on every page.
Mm,
But they were all definitely scans from like 60-year-old comics because they were just like
yeah.
grainy, and like you could even tell like some of them were like dirty when they scanned it.
Ooh.
And I'm like, it's kind of interesting that like it does kind of like give like a certain sense of like you're kind of digging into history when you're looking at it. So
For
it's very
sure.
there's a very interesting situation. But yeah, so like when I was reading that Omni, caught those pages, and I was like, this is really sort of hilarious that they had to do this, because when this all I would say started, like I got into the space in like the early 2000s,
Mm,
and I was looking for things, and it came across the website, and I still remember it because I thought it was funny because they kept doing a dance with Marvel. It was called xmenscans.net. And it was just like outright, like they just weren't even trying. It was like, we're not hiding
mhm,
this, we're just doing it. And it was like for like 2 3 months, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, and it was like, yeah, page by page. Like it was like the first digital platform,
mhm,
really. And I was like, oh, cool, I can just read stuff. And then it was like a news article will pop up in the, like the Angel Fire or whatever the hell I was on back in the day, and it'd be like, oh, Marvel like found out about this and they shut it down, and I'm like, oh, okay, it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do.
Oh, for
And then
sure.
like a week later, it'd be like .info and then .org.
Mhm,
So it was just like back and forth. So I was just fun. It was like, oh, this is hilarious that like they had to resort to this thing to get their book out, but this thing that they fought against for like 5 straight years, just back and forth. Like they were shutting these sites down so heavily. And
mhm,
yeah, that's when like torrents and stuff, like I didn't even know, like I was terrified of torrents early on. So like the
mhm,
bootleg was like, oh, like all the stuff, like all the, I kind of had 2 minds of it at the same time, because it was like when I did music, and which ultimately, ironically, helped pave the way for like some of the good things about the way music is presented to us these days, but a lot of the
Yeah.
bad things about the way music is presented to us these days. But like, I came across a lot of indie acts that I never would have found otherwise. Because people,
Mhm.
what you used to do as a music artist, you would name your song a popular, it was like Lil Wayne, 6 foot, 7 foot, except it
Mhm.
wasn't that. It was a completely different person, completely different song. And it was just like,
Mhm.
oh man, this is actually good. Like, what's this person's actual name? So then you're looking for it and you get into like finding these like indie acts. So it was like,
Mhm.
I was on there for that. And then it was like, but then I would hear amongst like the chat rooms and everything, people were like, oh man, you can't do torrents. Like, they should be packaging viruses in that. So like I was
Yeah.
terrified of torrents. I was like, absolutely not. No, like, I'm not playing that game. Like I had gotten a virus one time from like somebody I knew. I'm like, if it's that easy, I'm not even like I didn't even think that they knew how to do it. And I was like, it was just like a message they sent me. And this was like early 2000s. It was like an AIM message. And I was like, oh, what's this? And then just like all my shit got fucked up. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna mess around with viruses no more. Like, I'm gonna be very, very careful going forward because I'm like, this is not a fun time for me. So it was just
Right.
like very, very careful. But like for me, I was poor. I was flat out poor. I remember I got into comics by accident, basically. I was driving
Mm.
down with my uncle. He used to be a driver, uh, or a truck driver, and he took me on a route one day. We like went straight down to Texas and back. Basically, we're in Chicago, and on the way back, we stopped at a gas station, and it was like two comics on the shelf, and one was an Amazing Spider-Man, and one was the like it was like Fantastic Four 2099 or something, one of the 2099 books, and it
Oh,
looked
okay.
nothing. It looked nothing like the cartoon that I was watching. So I was like, I don't understand this. So like, I'm gonna stick with Spider-Man. At least like this suit looks
Mm.
similar. Like I don't understand why he's blonde, but we'll get to that. Like,
I will definitely say you had an easier time than I did getting into comic books. My first book was Batman the Cult by Jim Starlin, and
woof,
yeah, okay, it's like okay,
woof.
let's unpack this. So my mom had seen that I was watching the animated series. She just saw me watching it, she would help out, and she worked at the local like juvenile hall, so the local library would just bring in trades and stuff like that for the kids to read, and she just snuck a Batman book home, not really understanding why it said the cult. She didn't read it, she didn't care, and she was like, "Here's Batman," and I'm like reading this and seeing Batman on acid and watching him beat up homeless people, and I'm just like, "What's going on?" And you watch like homeless people take over Gotham City. They beat up Jim Gordon. An Apache priest is trying to bathe in homeless people's blood, and you're just like, "What?" And it was so funny too because I remember when what was it, Arkham Knight came out,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they straight up just made Deacon Blackfire the like whitest like Southern Baptist preacher ever, and I'm just like, that's not what it's supposed to be. But all right, cool. But from there, I
Yeah.
remember getting into like things of like I remember my dad saw me reading it one day, and he took me to a comic shop. And then he got me Priest, Captain America, and Falcon, and then Black Lightning because he wanted me to make sure I had black heroes to look up to. So that was where that's why Sam's back there because of my dad.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's
Yeah.
super cool. That's super cool. I've ever since Static, the show, I was very much uh I've been like drawn to black characters. And I don't know what it is about I don't know what it is about that, but like I've just always been drawn to black characters. Like when they announced the Marvel Knights Black Panther, I was like, this is fucking sick. Like I love this. And I was literally up until that point, I was like, man, I don't even really like Joe Quesada's art. Like it's kind of like edgy, right? And then they
Yeah.
did that fire cover of issue 1, and I was like, it's fucking good. Like, it was like immediate 180 because legit, I was like, what's this ass shit? I'm like, this doesn't look good, man. Like, it's so like
Mhm.
weird and like I don't know. He's like gangly. Like I don't even like this. Is kind of like a dumb looking book.
Do you
And then
know where Joe Quesada got his start?
he was on X-Men.
No. Here's the fun
Before
thing.
that?
Yeah, before that. It's funny that you mentioned Solar Man of Adam before we started
Mm,
because the first gig Joe Quesada ever did was he was a scrub artist over at Valiant when they first got started. So
mm.
like he was one of the knobs who was getting trained on how to draw and stuff like that. So one of his first projects back then was doing Valiant work.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, everyone. It's such an interconnected space, man. The comic book universe of creators is so connected. Like I am exactly 1 degree away from everybody cool. Like it's like Facebook's like, hey, you know this person, you want to be friends with Chris Claremont, right? I was like, I
Mm.
mean, I do, but I don't think I'm there yet. Like
That
for like a
reminds me of the one time like I got a friend request from Gail Simone and I was just like, huh? And it was because like I commented on one of her posts because she used to listen to Panel back in the day, and I was just like, okay, cool. Like Gail Simone is friends with me on Facebook, cool. It was just the randomest thing, and it's
yeah.
like never come up again. And then it was while like she randomly retweeted something I put on Blue Sky the one day a while like a few months ago about me mad about Mr. Terrific not getting a lot of sales, and she like helped boost the run, and I was like, yes, we love that.
That's awesome, dude. That's fantastic. Like it's such like I said, it's such a weirdly like connected. Like I've been going to cons for so long. Like I know a lot of these dudes personally, like these major dudes. Like
Mm,
Angel Medina knows me. Like, you know what I mean?
nice.
Like Angel Medina, like Spider-Man all time, like
Mm.
Spawn all time. You know what I mean? Like I've got original. Where's my sketchbook? It's over there. I've got sketches directly from him of just like, and I bought so many of his. Oh God, he's like one of my favorites to visit because he has like
Mm.
this tray of just like practice sketches,
Oh wow.
and like process is my favorite shit. So
Mm.
it was, and they're like reasonable. It's like $7, $10, whatever. Like and it's like original shit.
Right.
He's like, oh, so I printed this. Like he'll tell me about it. He's like, so I printed this, of the original piece, and then I added this stuff to it. And I'm like, that's fucking incredible. Like I love that shit. So like just knowing these people for so long, and like, and they've been in all these different positions. Like I was just listening to, I don't know if you know Wizards, the podcast guide to comics.
No, I haven't
Uh,
listened to it. I'll have to listen to it though.
so there's Adam and Mike and them that they're dope. They basically started going through like the comics boom of the 90s through the pages of Wizard.
Mm.
And then along that route, they've also interviewed a bunch of people who worked there and a bunch of people who were featured there. The Rob Liefeld has like a standing beef with them because they cover Wizard. They had nothing ill to say about Rob Liefeld, and just like the mere existence of this.
I got all the smoke for Rob Liefeld.
Same, brother, same.
Bro, can we talk about the fact that like I don't know who at Image has like been trying to fix Rob Liefeld's like PR by getting all these young skinny white dudes to be Rob Liefeld fans and read the new Youngblood, but like genuinely like Rob Liefeld is scum, and it's so frustrating.
Bro.
Like for anybody who's listening, go look up what Rob Liefeld did to be able to draw Fighting American when he left Marvel and he wanted to write a Captain America adjacent character. Man's literally went to Jack Kirby's widow and Joe Simon to get the rights to do Fighting American because he was so desperate to do an IP.
Let me pause you for a second.
Have smoke on that.
He didn't go. He did it. And then
Mm.
they were like, excuse me? And he was like, oh, I meant to come here and ask permission, and then got permission. Yeah, the initial, because I remember at the time, because they covered it in Wizard, they were like, oh, there was like a little disagreement, but then like he got permission so he was ready to just do it. He was ready to just do it without permission. Because he was thinking it was old enough because nah.
Between that and the Malibu ish and the fact that like he would have never formed Image with Todd and them if it weren't for Jim Lee. Like it's so funny when you hear the stories of how that stuff went down. Because I used to collect Wizard back in the day. I was there until Wizard folded. So like it's so interesting listening to those stories and understanding stuff. I remember there's this great video series on YouTube called The Rise and Fall fall of comic, like the comic multiverse or some shit, where like SF Debris goes through the entire comic boom and talks about all like the wizard and all the different things that went down with all the money laundering and stuff, and how like Fleer and all this stuff got involved with Marvel. And it's just so interesting. You listen to these stories and you hear the truth about stuff happening, and then you look at someone like Liefeld and you're just like, how are you still working? How are you still here?
Bro,
you drew Deadpool, so everyone thinks you're cool. Okay, cool. So whatever.
I'm pretty sure, hear me out, I'm pretty sure that I bullied him into getting Youngblood back.
Wait, what?
Here's the thing. He has this hair trigger on blocking people, right? And I don't spend like no time on Twitter. You look at my Twitter right now. I have maybe 200 followers. Like I have no numbers. Like I am nobody on Twitter. I never was. But like somebody posted, and then he posted like a picture of Cable, Domino, and Deadpool. And somebody in the somebody posted it, and somebody in the comments was like, "Oh, like great characters," whatever. And I was like, and they were like tagged him, and I was like, he had nothing to do with making those characters great. Like everybody else that touched those characters made those characters great. He just made the characters, and then everybody else gave them what we love about them today. What people who love X-Men right now love about Cable has nothing to do with early Cable written by Rob Liefeld.
It was funny too, because I was at Hall of Fame City Comic Con about a month ago, or what? It was one month and a half ago, and Fabian Nicienza came through town, and I went up to him and I was like, I want you to know that you had more to do with Deadpool's creation than Rob Liefeld. And I would rather see you come back than see him come back any day of the week. And he stood up and shook my hand. Like, genuinely, it's insane that so many people will sit there and laugh at the Deadpool Wolverine, like, foot shoe store in the background of the shot, even though people like Fabian need more credit. Hell, I would argue Jerry Dugan alone needs more credit and more access to Deadpool's like credit to like how he exists now in the current Marvel universe than anything Rob ever did. And Jerry Dugan will never get his flowers. And like Joe Kelly, Jerry Dugan,
it's so funny when they were like announcing the movie. I was like, that's the Joe Kelly shit. This is the Joe Kelly. This is the feel. Like the feel of this is the Joe Kelly era, and everything since. This has nothing to do with fucking Rob Liefeld. Like
for sure.
And I went out of my way at one point and I read the Circle Chase or whatever, the first mini. That was drawn by a very young and very unrefined Joe Mad.
Oh Lord!
And I love Joe Mad's art like to date. I am a Joe Mad stan.
Oh, you're a stan, okay?
Hardcore. But like I look at those early books and I'm like I see where it was going. Like I see the path. I see the path, because it's like it's kind of like looking at early Roger Cruz, because Roger Cruz was just like Team Moo Joe Mad for about 5 years. Dude, he straight up bootlegged certain poses from Joe Mad.
Team Moo Joe Mad.
He was. But then he just built his whole thing. And he's gone through like 2 or 3 different styles too, because he was there for the X-Men the 12 event, and there was books that he drew there that look nothing like Joe Madden. They look nothing like current Roger Cruz. Like it was like more characters were like a little stockier, a little bulkier, and I was just like, I'm glad. And even then, this was like 99 or whatever. I was like, I'm glad that he like found his own style. And then most recently, because he was on that Damian book, the Robin book. And I was like, and I didn't realize it was him, because I was looking at those pages, like flipping through them and stuff. And I was like, yeah, this is solid work. And then one day he popped into my head. I'm like, oh, what's he up to? And it's like, oh, he's working on the Robin book. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't even recognize his style. It's completely different now. So it's like, I love to see that process. But like when I read Circle Chase, I was like, the whole thing, because he everybody talks about, oh, he created Deadpool. So I'm like, I'm looking for it. Like I'm looking for the trademark Deadpoolisms. And I'm like, in the entire 4-issue run, there is one pop culture reference, and it's not a fourth wall break. I'm like, so his Deadpool had no fourth wall break. His Deadpool had a bare minimum fucking pop culture references. this is not the dude. This is not the guy. He was much
Mm-hmm.
more like hardcore mercenary than the pot like than the fun, energetic like it was a different character.
Oh, for
So
sure.
when I saw that post and I made my reply, Rob Liefeld comes in out of fucking nowhere and he's like, I get the checks, I get the royalty checks still. And I literally I was just like, nah, I'm done with this dude. And I was like, what do you do? What do you do exactly, Rob? Well, because when my first reply was like, Fabian and Joe Kelly have more to do with what people love about these characters than you ever did. And he's like, I still get checked or something, like whatever his reply was. And I was like, Rob, seriously, what do you do? And I'm not talking about like the pittance that Marvel gives you every once in a while. Like, what do you do? Like, you don't even own your own shit anymore. What exactly do you do?
It says something about the fact that like Jim Lee was able to sell Wildstorm to DC. I can't think of a single publisher that would look at Extreme Studios and say, "Yeah, nah, I want to buy that." Like I think it was to the point was in like right at the turn of the century, like the rest of them were like, "Yeah, we don't want to deal with you anymore, Rob. We're gonna annex you from the company." Like, and the thing about it is, there was a point when I was like, maybe he's learned, maybe he's gotten better. And then what was that one character that he came back and did for Marvel because he wanted to get another check?
Was it Major X or something like that?
Something like that. It was like a Deadpool knockoff, but even that was crude and stupid. Dude,
but did you see? So do you remember what happened with that? He was gonna do like he was gonna be like a cameo in the X-Force book.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah.
He was gonna be a cameo, and then he went and made a variant cover for something that was coming out a month earlier because the Major X book wasn't gonna be out until a month later.
So he's like, Key Collector pissed. I remember that shit now. Yeah,
I was like, what a fucking petty ass. I'm like, you have the book. Why are you worried about some cameo like far shot with 40 people in it?
Because he wants the speculator market to spec on his stuff. He doesn't care about the actual thing. He wants the speculator market to have his name in their mouth. Dude. But where is Major X now? Nowhere.
Bro, this is this is from a random bundle I picked up. So this wasn't even planned. I wasn't expecting to talk about Rob Liefeld. There's just a stack of stuff here. Cause I'm like, so this is like Team Youngblood issue 4 from back in the day, right? Extreme Studios, right? Chat Yeep did the cover. Look at the back, bro. His name. He was promoting his name before he was promoting the book. This was the ad for the Youngblood 94. Rob Liefeld, Jim Shooter, Youngblood 94. Nuff said. So steals a Marvel line.
Don't get me wrong. I always say that Jim Shooter wasn't the best person ever, but like I have a lot of admiration and respect for Jim Shooter's work ethic because of what he went through with the original launch of Valiant. And like, damn, I would argue any day of the week that Jim Shooter's name should be above Rob Liefeld's, like in anything.
Absolutely. That's the problem. Is like the reality with the real problem with Rob Liefeld is that he has always wanted to be the star. He is not about the book. He is not about the characters. He wants to be the star because in reality, he wants to just do what he wants and he wants people to like that. My perfect example out of all the things in the New 52 that went wrong, Rob Liefeld is one of the few that went the wrongest. The first run was it the Tony Daniel arc? I forget who wrote the first arc of Deathstroke. Solid, right? Solid writing. Literally throughout the whole thing, there's an internal monologue where Deathstroke's like, I never let them know how I'm feeling. I never let them know if I'm at a disadvantage. And then the second page of Rob Liefeld writing this book is like, you may have gotten the best of me this time. And I'm like, we just spent 7 issues saying you don't do this.
Yeah, I remember when they were I remember there was a G4 like Comic-Con like coverage stream actually like and back when like G4 was like on its own channel on cable, and like they had all the like montage showings of the New 52 launch at San Diego Comic-Con and whatnot, and I remember seeing the first like cover of Hawk and Dove and I could just feel his presence and I cringed. I was just like, please, God, no,
That book
please.
looked so bad. That book looked bad. There was one cover because I remember because I didn't read that as it came out. I didn't actually read New 52 until till 2016. Like
I was there on day one,
as
man.
they
I was
rebooted.
right.
No, dude,
I was a sophomore in high school, and I was triggered. I was so as a Teen Titans loyalist who had been reading since like the first issue of John's. I was
it was ruined. It was
mad.
ruined for you, and I understand that. I was there for
Oh,
that too.
bro, Scott Lobdell will always have my smoke, bro. Scott Lobdell, like it's so weird too
I
because
got beef with Scott for multiple reasons.
it was so like frustrating too because all I had so much anger for him, and then he wrote DC Rebirth, Red Hood and the Outlaws, and I was like, this is not the same person. This can't be the same person. You went from just dunking and ruining my favorite characters for so long, then writing a competent story. Either you had the most glorious ghostwriter ever, or you had editorial down your neck, and I don't know which, but that's fine, and it's to this day.
No, man. I don't think I still don't think he has fulfilled his campaign for his singular comic book. It's been about 5 years. I literally talked another artist out of working with him because he was like, "Oh, I'm about to work with Scott Lobdell," and I was like, I mean, you sure about that? I was like, here's the situation. It's been about this long, and there's been no updates. There's been no nothing, and this book's not done. I'm like, I know the art is done because I followed the artist of that book at the time. I'm like, I know the art is done, so I don't know why we haven't gotten this book. And he's like, all right, man, I'm gonna have to talk to him about that before we proceed. I was like, yeah, you should talk to him about that. And then no, Scott Liddell's another one, man. Like it's some of these guys are, especially these guys from the 90s, like some came through, and like you look at somebody like Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly came out of Marvel doing some hot Marvel shit, did a lot of good X-Men shit. And then it really went, he's like, all right, cool. I'm going to go do my own thing, and just knocked it the fuck out of the park. Joe Kelly is, I would say, like the true indie success story, right? He was like, oh, we're going to do this little one-shot comic called M-Rex, right? We're going to call this M-Rex. And what do we get a decade later? We get Generator Rex, 3 seasons, 2 video games. Nah, man. Like, and then amidst all that, Ben 10. We're just gonna do Ben 10. Just cash. Just cash. We're just gonna do Ben 10, one of the most beloved cartoons of all time. Like, just cash. Like I was writing X-Men for a minute, and then I decided I'm just gonna revolutionize cartoons.
It's so funny too because we're seeing this renaissance. Like I know Humble Bundle has a thing right now going on with Dynamite where they have like a bunch of Thundercats books and the Space Ghost and a bunch of stuff tied in as like a giant like 92 issue thing for $18. And I was like, that's awesome. And I was talking to David Pepos in an interview about it where he's just like, the idea that we're able to take these stories from like the millennial and like Gen X generation of stories and modernize them and make them the hardcore things you want to tell better stories is phenomenal. And it's never like hardcore. It's like, no, we're modernizing in a better way. Like Pebos' Captain Planet will go down as one of the best interpretations of a character in the history of comic books. I will die on that hill.
I heard you guys talking about it. I'm excited. I'm excited for that trade to drop. That'll be a pickup for sure. I'm gonna be listening for your podcast to let me know when the trade from the comic shop.
Oh, I'll let you know, most definitely, yeah. Because like, that's what we try to do with that, is like let people know when FOC is up. Because like so many people don't know what FOC is, and it drives me freaking bonkers. They don't know what it's gonna pre-order to.
Some books will be on pre-order for months.
Oh,
Other books, it's like, yeah, if you don't get it in by 2 weeks from now, it's game. I was like, the variation is wild too. So yeah, it's hard to keep track. And then the comic shops, they got a business to run, so not everything they can't always put up FOC stuff every week.
Almost definitely.
There's tons of stuff. Like my local shop. I don't even know if they do anything on social, man. Like they're like very much like walk-in traffic. They got like a decent deal. I actually picked up the last 3 books I needed for the Pluto manga.
Oh, nice.
from them, because I like randomly, I was just like, oh, let me just check here, and I was like, no fucking way they have them, dude, because I've been checking it every. So I was challenged on Twitter because there's
Ooh.
this whole, I'm sure you've seen it. There's this massive discourse on Twitter about like, oh, manga's so much better than Western comics. And one day I was just like,
I hate that conversation.
I was like, all right, show me, right? Because I'm like, I don't know, right? Show me, give me something to read. And somebody was like, well, do you want seinen or shonen? I'm like, I literally just said, you tell me what to read. I don't know anything about this. So he's like, all right, well, shonen is this, seinen is this. And they were like, Chainsaw Man and Pluto. I was like, all right, cool. I read the first chapter of Chainsaw Man online. Uh, I was like, this is not for me. This is like, I'm like, the premise is like, oh, he can't get laid, so he makes a deal with the devil. This is fucking boring. Like, this is incel the manga.
Yeah, pretty
Like,
much. If we're being honest with ourselves,
and then
I just
I read Pluto chapter 1. I was captivated.
oh for sure, yeah.
Picked up volume 1 on Amazon because I was like, I need this. I was like craving it, and I read it, and I was like, all right, but like, I'm not buying the rest of this through Amazon, like on principle. Went to my shop. Well, the one shop could only order like a couple volumes, and through like different distributors. And this is the other problem, right? If you're looking for something at your local comic shops, not everyone has access to everything. Not everyone has an account with certain shit.
That's a great way to swing back into the piracy conversation, because like it goes to both of our history and understanding things, because now that we've entered this post-COVID age where a lot of people don't understand the monopoly that was holding up the entire comic industry by the balls, is because now it's you either have Penguin or you have Lunar. Before, it was you went to one joint, everybody went to one joint, you all went to Diamond. If you didn't go to Diamond, you weren't really doing real comics. You had to fight for that, you had to get with that, you had to reach certain quotas, like you had to be on ball. And then COVID happened and it went horribly. And it was to the point that some people weren't even getting books published, some people weren't even getting certain things. And it's so interesting how it got to a point that even someone as large as Disney was willing to look at the government, like the government, who was like seeing the concern of like the monopoly, and they sent lobbyists to the government and said, "Don't do it. We don't care how much we have to to give you. We will tell you don't mess with Diamond, because Diamond is literally holding us up, like that thing from YouTube I told you about from SF Debris, where it talks about how back before Disney bought Marvel tried to own its own publisher, like its own distributor, and they tried to open it all up. It was called Capital, I believe, or something like that, and they tried to open it up. And then they had their own distributor, but they didn't insulate the building properly, so the phone line set the whole building on fire. And it's like, and once that happened, Diamond pretty much had everybody by the balls, and everyone had to go to Diamond. So the comic industry said, "Fine, we will literally fight tooth and nail to make sure the government leaves you alone if you do business." And it kept Diamond afloat. That's why, and it got to the point where like Midtown and my comic shop, and there's like a bigger shop in Indiana, where like the biggest ones you could buy stuff from if you, and like you would go to them if you were a smaller shop. And like the complexities of the comic book shop side of things is so much people don't understand. But now it's like, oh, either like all you need now is a Lunar account and a Penguin account, and Lunar is the more that has most of the publishing like stuff going on. Penguin is the more traditional, so they have Marvel and stuff like that because they already had deals with Disney for things. And it's like, that's cool, but it shows that the game is different compared to what it used to be. So it's an entirely different conversation to where before it was just you went to Diamond, you called it a day. Now it's, oh dear God.
Well, then on top of that, you have the manga, especially from what I understand, there's like at least 3 distributors for the manga. And like the same series will be at different distributors for different volumes. And I'm like, I can't even fathom the logistics behind that on the publisher end, let alone on the shop end. If the shop has one account but not the other, so now I can get you volume 2, but I can't get you volume 1. So like, what am I even doing for you with a volume 2? You know, so it's like it becomes this whole thing. And then, you know, it's like, two sides of the same coin. Like you said, this has gotten better for the mainstream books, the mainstream titles. You have the two you have the two distributors, but then also like Random House also publishes a bunch of the Omnis from DC. So like if you're getting your Random House books, you're getting your Random House books. Like Lunar is the same way as like if you're getting your DC shipment, you're also getting your Boom shipment. You're not missing anything. But like so like the mainstream people, the Booms, the Dynamites, the Marvels, the DCs, they're good. The indie has a tough time because at least at least at the end of Diamond, they started opening up because people I know from the indie space were like, oh, excuse me. We're like, oh, I can actually get into Diamond. They're like, oh, my book is getting a Diamond. I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome, right? Because I was like, oh, you know what? Actually, maybe divesting of everything, maybe this will be better for the industry. And then Diamond folded, and now I literally know people who didn't get their books back. Diamond had 4,000 copies, never coming back. Fair Square Comics. I was talking to Fabrice, he's like, dude, I'm out of books. He's like, this is the last 3 copies of this. He's like, because they didn't send me my books back, so I'm out thousands of dollars. Like he had to essentially run a Kickstarter for digital only just to try and fund getting some more copies to be able to print, because like that's so like there was like a lot of fallout out of the Diamond thing and the indie side of things, which is why I think it's even more important now to like really be focusing on indie, right? Because like you said before on your show, Batman's gonna come out. You got to worry about
for
Batman.
sure, most definitely.
X-Men's coming out. Don't ever worry about X-Men not coming out.
Right?
Like X-Men, Marvel's getting my money no matter what. I'm X-Men till I die. Like my literal goal with my collection is to have every appearance of an X-Men character in trade in collected format. It's just like that's my shit. That's my so like I'm never worried about Marvel. I'm never worried about DC. I'm never worried about Boom or like these. So these, it's funny because people still talk about some of these companies as indie, and I think it's like a little dangerous because
that's Boom, an interesting conversation.
Boom owns almost every single thing they publish. That is true. Those are corporate owned IPs. Those
but at the same time,
but
at the same time, I would honestly say that. In like I think it was Basic Nerd Comics I had a conversation with on TikTok where I will always say that Image and Boom and Vault, more so Image and Boom and Dark Horse, are still indie because they're not the big 2. Anybody who's not the big 2 is considered indie in my book because you're not like, oh, I'm on a Kickstarter or yada yada. You're still doing things for the creator-owned market. Kirkman wouldn't be what he is if it weren't for Image. Like, say what you will about Liefeld, McFarlane, whatever. Like, Image is still ground up boots, a bunch of dudes who had a dream, and Spawn to this day is one of the greatest creator-owned books of all time. Like hell, things like Bitterroot. I see it behind you, and I'm very glad that I see it behind you. Excellence wouldn't exist without Image. It's like right behind your head. I saw it when you turned, and it's like
back there. For sure.
It's like those books wouldn't exist if it weren't for creator-owned funds.
I got Wayward down here, Jim Zub. I got into Jim Zub because of Skull Kickers. I saw him at a convention, and he flat out told me, he's like, Image gave us a chance. We came to them with this crazy idea, this like buddy cop fantasy story, and it's like they took a chance on us, and they knocked it out of the park. Skull Kickers is like a fantastic series. I wish they would do the rest of the series so I bought from them their first hardcover, which was like all black with the gold leaf, and I was like, I wish they would do the rest of the fucking series in that. But like, I've got the rest of the trades, and it's like, if you don't, I
had to pull it off my shelf. I funded the Kickstarter.
Yeah, same. That's what that is. That's what that is. Like the excellence, dude. And to swing back around to the original conversation, Excellence is an example for me. Excellence and Skyward also. I bootlegged those. I bootlegged the first issue, and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. Mind you, Excellence had already been out for like 12, 14 issues. I hadn't even heard of it. But I bootlegged it. I was like, what is this? I fucking flipped through literally, I didn't even get to the end of the first issue. I was like, oh, hell no, I'm buying the shit out of this. This is amazing. And I was like, oh, it's
Yeah,
Kickstarter.
that
I was like, oh,
definitely.
it's Kickstarter. Boom! I jumped on. I got the fucking the sketchbook. I went hard on that Kickstarter.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, like
Because I was like, I'm
I,
like, the storytelling is amazing. The artwork's fantastic. The concept, love the fucking concept.
oh yes,
And I was
it's
just like,
so good.
I was like, bought in, hardcore bought in.
Mm,
And it's one of those things that like I never even thought about bootlegging afterwards. Same thing with Skyward. I
mm,
was like, let me just grab a number one. Like the book has already been out. And I was like, I've never heard of this. Like, what the fuck is Skyward? I've like read the first page or the first issue, and I was like, damn, this is actually really cool. Great concept. Order the hardcover that day. Like I was
mm,
I'm putting in money because I'm like, this is what I'm looking for. And
mm.
that's why whenever I talk to like the small press, like self-published guys, I'm gonna steal I'm gonna steal a bar from Anthony Stokes. Uh don't be stingy with your fucking PDFs. Don't be stingy with your fucking
Man,
PDFs. Like if
it's
you got an
it,
indie book, if you're about to do a Kickstarter, especially if you're doing a Kickstarter for issue 2, issue 3, and somebody's like, "Hey, let me review your book for the podcast or for the fucking online or for the Substack,
mm,
whatever they're doing, tell them the fucking PDF, dude.
mm.
Yeah, you can make it a lower res.
Oh, for sure,
And
yeah.
also realistically, who fucking cares if it's the high res? Nobody is taking the fucking no. If they're not willing to pay you the $5-7, mind you, I'll go back to this because every once in a while I find people who still don't still have it. If you don't have a digital copy of your book on a website or somewhere where somebody can buy it, put that shit up. Come talk to me. I have done websites. I will help you the fuck out. Like it is not fucking hard. You could do it for basically free. So like I don't want to hear like, oh, I'm fucking scared people are gonna steal it. If people are gonna steal it, people are gonna steal it.
Yeah, and
Like
it's an interesting dichotomy because you're definitely an outlier compared to a lot of individuals because there's some people who I saw when it came to the piracy conversation about a month ago on TikTok who were very much just like fuck the corporations, I'm a pirate. And I've said it before and and we mentioned it like earlier, like no one's gonna bat an eye if you like pirate Batman, Amazing Spider-Man, X-Men, whatever. Those aren't going to be missed. But like the big example that I pointed to in my video where that like made all this come up was what was it? Batman Static Beyond. I had pimped that book out. I had interviewed the creative team. I was trying to get everybody on board because I constantly hear people say, "Oh, we want more static this, we want more static that, yada yada." But no one ever comes out for the books. Milestone returns happened. Everyone was excited for Milestone returns. Hardly anybody bought it. Batman Static hadn't even been out a week. 8,000 clicks on the pirate site. And I was dumbfounded. I'm like, yo, it's one
the
thing.
fact that sites are still up is bananas to me.
Specifically, the one that everyone knows about, it kind of goes back to what you talked about with like xpenscans.net.org, etc. They've swapped domains so many times it's not even funny. Like Marvel and DC have tried to hunt this site down for so long that I think they've just kind of given up because they've changed domains so many times because the hundreds of thousands of dollars that is just sitting on somebody's server room for this website is astonishing to me.
It's bananas. And it's like and here's the thing, like you said, I'm sure I'm an outlier because I said, I was around for the early days of scans. I scanned a book. It took fucking forever. And this is the difference between now and then, right? Back then, it was like we're doing this because motherfuckers don't have shops. There was no online. There was nothing. You could not find these books.
Oh, for
Like
sure. That's how it was.
once they were off the shelf, they were fucking gone. Like
Yep.
because my shop locally was a small shop. There was no
Yep.
finding back issues. It's like they had and every shop, I swear to God, every 5 years, every shop is like, oh yeah, I'm only buying like Silver Age. I'm only buying Golden Age. And it's like, all right, cool, but I'm trying to read 90s shit. And it's like, yeah, no, we don't buy that. We don't buy that. We don't bring it in. And I'm like, Okay, but how am I supposed to read it then, motherfucker? Like,
Well, like it's even to the point now where you're noticing a lot of like New 52 and Rebirth is all you really find in back issue bins because like that's all people sell now is like the stuff that just wasn't returnable right when DC and Marvel stopped really like giving you return credit. So people were just dumping collections and like you'll find some like early 2000s 90s shit here and there, but like a lot of the like back issue bins these days are very scarce and it's kind of depressing. Like a lot of like major shops, like there's Bill's Books down here in near close to me, like in North Canton, about 20 minutes from me. Dude is a convention hog, but he has a building where there's the main shop, there's storage, and there's storage in like a giant complex building. And once a year, he'll have a giant sale, and he'll open up all the doors. You can set he'll sell you whatever, and then he'll lock it back up unless he's going to a convention. And it's like that's what a lot of stuff is these days. In like all back like Silver Age, 90s stuff, Golden Age. It's a lot of con fodder, as I like to call it. Like it's just it's con fodder because they know they'll get money out of you. Like I was hunting Mr. Terrific's first appearance a while back at a con, and people were straight up telling me, "Oh, a book that would be pennies online was like $20." I'm like, you got me fucked up.
Nah, I hate that shit. That's an abuse of the system because it's like this stuff is going to be looked for. These things are going to be important, and instead of saying like there was a shop here, the guy passed a long time ago, but there was a shop here, and I knew someone who worked for the guy for a bit. He had an amazing fantasy 15. He had an amazing fantasy 15, just chilling. Had it at like some like at the time it was a super high price. It was like 3K.
Understandable.
And she was like, I told him like, no one's gonna fucking buy it, dude. Like you just make it a reasonable price. Cause this was like, what was it? This was like 09, 2010. So it was like the price point at that time was like 2,000, like on all the sites and all the places.
Yeah.
So she was like, I told him like, you got to bring it down, otherwise it's not going to sell. And he just looked at her. He's like, someone's going to buy it at that price. And he was willing to just wait it out until someone bought it at that price. And the problem is, it does happen. You get to that point, somebody's like, well, this is the one fucking thing I'm looking for, and I can't find it anywhere else.
Oh,
And
shout out to Comic Tom on YouTube. He's talked about how like he tracks the stuff with Key Collector app where like genuinely there will be some of the wildest sales of the speculator market where people will go balls deep on a first appearance or an event book. Like the weirdest stuff is going on with Absolute Batman right now. People are going feral over every issue. Like it's on its 10th printing of issue 1 and people are still going feral over this series. And I, for the life of me, cannot understand what is in the water. What are y'all drinking? It's just Batman if he's poor, people. Like, it ain't that serious. And people are like, it's the hottest shit. I need it. I need it. It's like, bro.
It's 100% it's all speculator. I'm trying to. Where does it say it?
Like literally, the last issue, 14, just came out. 14 is already having upwards of like $100 sales. And CGC hasn't even taken a single issue yet for grading, and people are already selling for hundreds of dollars. I'm like, y'all are insane. This is ridiculous.
And you know, it's the fucking best part of what you just said. I got a copy for free.
That's wild. And what's so funny is like
I walked into a new shop that I hadn't been in before. And he was like, "Hey man, for stopping in today," he's like, I'm gonna throw this in for you." And I was like, "Oh, I appreciate it." I was literally, I hate this fucking costume with a burning passion, and I was never gonna buy this book. I was never going to buy this book. Every other comic book person could have agreed unanimously that this is the best Batman shit ever. I would have never bought this book. I hate it. Was so funny. This fucking costume.
It's so funny. Iron Studios posted they're working on a model to submit to DC, like a statue model. And even Scott Snyder was like, "Oh, you made him look too old. He's supposed to look younger." And I'm like, Scott, it's not that.
It's the Batman Day special edition. So what is 1 and 2? I think.
Oh yeah, there's so many reprints of the Batman Day one. Like genuinely, my store owner was like, here's like 10 of them to give away for your show. I'm like, oh. All right. right? This is firewood, is what you're telling me. This is the kind of shit that Bucky Barnes would have told kids to give to the war bonds, is what you're telling me. Like, that's what you just said to me. Like, it's insane. And like, I despise the speculator market so much, and I will always have a vendetta against the speculator market for one reason. And it's the main reason why I will always hate the Batman Who Laughs, despite Scott Snyder. Like, I'm about to put it in a comic capsule for a video. I went to a Snyder and Capullo panel like the day after Batman Metal #1 came out, and I had them sign my Batman #51 because it's the first book that I got back into comics with when I got into college. And I straight up said,
and that's a slick cover. I love that cover.
I know, right? Like this cover will always be one of my favorites because it's the last issue they wrote together. And I was like, this is what got me back into comics.
Oh, that's right, 52 was like the lead in the Rebirth.
Yeah, and like I straight up said, this is what got me back in. I'm a comic journalist now. I want you to sign this, and they did. And like, despite my love of Snyder, I will always hit the Batman Who Laughs for one reason. I was collecting every issue of Teen Titans Rebirth. I had it subscribed. I pulling it at my shop. Despite me pulling it, a freaking a random speculator came into my shop and told my shop owner, I will buy your copy of Teen Titans 12 that you have because of it's the first appearance of the Batman Who Laughs. And he was like, that's for my subscriber, dude. I only bought like one copy and it's for him. I don't care. I will buy it. And he sold it because dude offered him like $500. And I was like, y'all are out of your mind. Like, that's why I will always have a vendetta against the speculator market, despite me tracking it, because that, and you notice, and I'm about to make a video about it because Marvel's about to do it again with Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant next year, because the writer just announced that Galacta is going to be making her premiere into the 616 with the issue 2. And I'm it's like the female version, or like the daughter of Galactus. That's like the main, and she's like the main announcer in Marvel Rivals. They're doing a bunch of like they're doing a bunch of like synergy collabs and shit. Like they're putting Malice in that, but they're calling her Invincible Woman instead of Invisible Woman. And like what is it? Hella's teaming up with fucking Null and becoming the Queen in Black because of the costume and stuff.
I just saw the announcement for the new Null book. Yeah,
yeah, and it's like they're doing all these different synergy things, but they're putting Galacta in the 616 because she's already been in like Elseworld stuff, and they're making that be like a spec book. And I'm like, so you're telling me I'm struggling to get people to buy Storm's book, and you're only going to see a surge because you're putting this dumb spec book in here, and I hate you for it.
This is the problem, and with the majors, it's all about dollars, and it's kind of. They're operating the comic side of their business ass backwards, right?
Yeah.
Because what Marvel should be for Disney is a literal IP house. It should be an IP generator. Yeah. You should be putting out long tail stories to be able to mine them to make animation, movies, TV shows. That's what you need. Because, granted, obviously, there's like 60, 70, 80 years of comics you could pull from that. And the unfortunate trend in comics and with Disney, because they love to fucking reboot a show so that they don't have to pay people after 3 seasons. What? I didn't say that. That's why Daredevil Reborn is called Daredevil Reborn, not Daredevil Season 4. What? Because that's how they do the deals. They do the deals by saying for the first 3 seasons you get this much, and if it goes further than 3 seasons you get more, and then they rebrand it, and then it's a different show. It's the same reason we got Batman the Animated Series, and then Batman was a Gotham Adventures or where the fuck is
something like that.
Yeah, no, this was a Disney thing that they started like in the early 90s. It's the same reason like it was Gargoyles. 1 through 3, and then the last, or the 1 and 2, and then season 3 was rebranded to like Champions of the Night or some shit like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, which like it wasn't even as good a season, which was the problem. Like, but yeah, no. So like they're operating ass backwards because they should be allowing people to do long tail. Because when you let someone like craft out a long tail narrative, you get the best shit. That's
Yeah.
why. That's why if you look at, let's say, something like a microcosm, if you want to call it that, as New 52, right? You give Snyder and say, all right, you just write Batman. You just do Batman shit, and we'll
Yeah.
do whatever the fuck you want. And then we got some of the best Batman stories ever. Because what was he able to do? He was able to introduce an entirely new villain category, not even just a new
Yeah.
villain, but a new villain category. And then from that, we got all these other stories and all these other interesting interactions and conversations just out of just letting this motherfucker cook. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you just gotta let a motherfucker cook. Because if you just say, because I think you said the Storm is only approved for 5 issues, like it's
Yep.
ongoing, but it's only ongoing for 5.
Well,
Because
and then
they,
here's the weirdest part about that. Here's the weirdest freaking part about that. And I tweeted the writer earlier today. I was like, "Hey, your solicitation picture you just posted says out of 5 rather than it being ongoing like the previous month said. Are you good? Like, can you comment on this?" All he did was like my post, and I'm like, "God damn it."
and that's straight up a Marvel thing. Because I'll tell you, I thought they were the Scarlet Witch series, which they did end up canceling, but I thought they were going to cancel it after 6, because if you saw the original solicitations, they had issue 6, issue whatever, and then it was like 6, and then I didn't see anything else, and I was like, and it was like, now we're another month, and I still didn't see a 7, and I was like, oh, I think they're fucking canceled this as a mini, even though they said it was an ongoing. It ended up going like 12 or whatever, because I think sales picked back up, because I think that was just a really good series. I still haven't finished it, but like I read the first few issues, it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you bring Joseph back, like I gotta be into it.
Understandable.
But like then they canceled that, and they're like, oh, now we're gonna call it Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch or whatever the fuck. And it's like, because they just want those number ones, and it's fucking goofy.
Well, and now you're seeing it now where they're like, oh, we did this whole thing where we're gonna find a new Sorcerer Supremo. It's Wanda, and I'm like, so you just letting Steve cook more. You're just letting Steve Orlando do more shit. Like, it's insane to me that I remember, what was it, 2018? There was this big ass push to finally, like, you know what? We've been relaunching a little too much, kids. Let's go back to legacy numbering. Let's give a shit about legacy numbering, because DC did it and Marvel did it at the exact same time. And granted, they've kind of still honored that, where you'll see like relaunch number 1 and then like super small print at like number 300 or something, whatever the fuck. And like, that's cool. I appreciate that for back issue bins, but I'm also just like, you could have had something really cool and really awesome if you'd have kept legacy numbering going, because like you keep doing this whole sliding timescale shit, and you believe in what Stan said of, oh, this is every comic can be someone's first, but you don't really mean that. You don't really mean that.
The reality of that is the best stories I ever hear from somebody who gets into comics and got into comics, they got into it at issue 376.
Yep.
Mine was the middle of the fucking Ben Reilly saga. I'm like, who the fuck is Ben Reilly? Why is he blonde? Peter's a clone? What the fuck is happening? Right? That was my
issue was
first
the cult. I'm curious. What issue was the cult?
It was such a bananas, like middle of the, and I was in the middle of like the second half of this crazy thing that kept getting changed and canceled. So like then I started reading Wizard, and I'm like hearing about all this other stuff behind the scenes, and it was just like, and then I find out years later this was literally just Bob Harris being dope with X-Men, and the Spider Office being like, we gotta fucking match this fool. We got to try to match his numbers. So like, let's keep changing shit.
If you ever go back and look at all the drama that was behind the Clone Saga, it will break your brain, bro. Like, like the idea that they originally wanted there was an alternate ending where you were gonna find out Peter was actually the clone and Ben was the true person. I'm like, this is insanity.
Even the actual finale. Like I actually just picked up Black Friday weekend, my one shop that I go to had massive deals, 40% off hardcovers.
Nice.
Omni, Omni, Omni.
But it's like in terms of the piracy thing, it's a battle because I've kind of got to a point when it comes to the piracy conversation. If you wanted to tell me that you're someone in the United States, I always try to make that a caveat. If you're someone in the US and you tell me you're pirating, I'm gonna kind of look at you sideways because you have DC Infinite, you have Marvel Unlimited, you have Global Comics, you have Neon Ichiban, a bunch of the comic creators and publishers are putting funding into Sweet Shop, and I'm actually trying to talk to the guys from it's another platform that publishers are trying to like get behind to help fund creators, and similar to Neon Ichiban, do like digital variant covers and stuff like that. Like they're trying to make sure it doesn't just come off like crypto, but they're trying to actually try to like incentivize people to give a shit about digital, and it's kind of cool. I'm about to do an interview with them here soon because I want to like talk to them because I see because people like Bendis and Kelly Sue and Matt Fraction are trying to put money into it. I think that's kind of cool, but it's a matter of there's so many digital platforms that are being created or growing larger. As we saw Comixology being absorbed into Amazon, they went, we don't like that. And then you saw the original founders of Comixology create Neon Ichiban, and they're like, we're coming back because you guys messed up the first time and didn't do it right. And now we're like, not only are we going to do manga, we're going to do Western comics and have it be all one platform because y'all messed up our old shit. And I love that. And it's like, we're to the point now where there's so many ways to read digitally. Granted, I've kind of like I always tell you people, read digitally for back issues. Don't read digitally for ongoings, because if you do, it's only going to land books being canceled. And you need to make sure you're pre-ordering if you can, because genuinely, if you don't, books are going to keep getting canceled.
And I definitely wanted to talk about that aspect of it.
Ooh, let's go.
The digital platform, I don't want to call it the devaluing of the digital platform, but the mainline companies do not value the digital read. You've said it yourself. Yeah. And I think there needs to be something different. They need to change the way they operate. I think, and this is gonna fuck a lot of people up. I think this is going to fuck a lot. I think this will destroy the speculator market. And that's why I think this shift, if it should go this way, because I think it should go this way, but if it happens to go this way, this will destroy the speculator market. I think the mainstream companies need to move to a Shonen Jump type of system. You need to put out a Marvel Tales monthly where you have cheap paper, like it's like 6 or 7 things. It's like $10, but it's a magazine format. It's thin. It's like, this is where the comics come in. And
they tried that.
Nah, but they didn't. I know what you're talking about.
Remember the X-Men Walmart books?
X-Men Universe. The Walmart. Yeah, the Walmart books. That was trash.
Walmart. No, because they actually paid King, and I forget who the guy writing the Batman book was, and I forget who wrote the Teen Titans book. They genuinely tried with the Batman books. I've had conversations.
But those were back issues, weren't they?
No, like there was the half of it was back issues and the other half was new stories. And it was like, hey, we're going to use cheap paper. We're going to give people new stories. A lot of it was non-canon, like the Teen Titans book was genuinely just, hey, we're going to give you a lineup that is supposed to mimic the TV show. Like they had Jason, Tim, and Dick all on the same Teen Titans team, and it was weird. Like it was very much like we want to appeal to the people who are like the casual readers, and it was a cool idea. It's just you had kids who were damaging the books, you had people who just didn't value the displays and stuff like that, and honestly it's kind of like similar to like recently with the whole McDonald's Krispy Kreme deal, where like DC and Marvel weren't seeing any money in it, because like you'll see in like there's even gas stations now that have like bundles of back issues now, which is freaking hilarious. I saw a bundle of like New 52 Superman Superman on a display recently, and I was like, I ain't seen you in years. And it was like, I think DC and Marvel are trying to appeal to the casual reader. I think something that would definitely help is if they took the Legends of Tomorrow concept more seriously and said, this is going to be the DC Next Level books that Scott Snyder's pushing, where this is your anthology. You're going to rotate your people, or rotate your minor characters every month. You're going to have a certain amount of issues to tell a story, and then you're going to rotate out. It won't be digital, because you even see with the X-Men announcement they did of Shadows of Tomorrow they did today, one of the stories is Iceman reprints from Marvel Unlimited, and it's like, what are you doing? No, these need to be brand new stories that are going to be rotated out, and it gives shine to minor characters. I even said the Power Company book they tried to launch for that was a one shot for DC that had all the black characters in it. That's how you get more shine to black characters and get more stories and status quos for your black characters. Just put everybody in a damn Power Company book and rotate out, or call 100%. It don't just have these weird little things of oh, it's Black History Month, let's do a Marvel Voices. It's Pride, everybody do Marvel Voices. I'm like, this is so derogatory at this point.
It really is, man. I was gonna say it's every year I'm like, this is the most performative shit. This is more performative than Target being oh, here's some gay shit.
It's so frustrating.
It's just in your face. It's oh yeah, remember these characters? They're gay. Remember they're gay.
Do you know, as someone who was a queer person like myself, as what I would do for another Midnighter ongoing, I would literally shine Steve Orlando's boots for 2 years if I had to, for him to be able to do another Midnighter book.
It's gotta be Midnighter and Apollo. Listen, I stand on this. I am 10 toes down. Midnighter and Apollo are the greatest couple.
I agree. I definitely agree, but Steve Orlando was cooking with gas when he could just let Midnighter loose. When it wasn't just, honey, calm down. It's, I'm a fuck bitches up. And I'm like, I like that version of Midnighter.
But we had that when they were together early on I'm sure you remember in the early Authority era. My favorite moment of all time is Midnighter comes up, Apollo's sitting down watching TV, comes up behind him, rest behind him, and he's like, what you thinking about? He's like, I'm thinking about how I'm gonna shove my foot up that motherfucker's ass. And he's like, I just love you to bits sometimes. And I'm like, that's the fucking moment. It's such a fucking great moment. I was like, that is true love right there. It's oh no, I'm gonna murder this motherfucker for you.
It's so good, bro. and it's just it's so frustrating too, because we got into the point where some characters only get featured when it's time for gay shit or when it's time for black shit. And it's
there's a young lady on TikTok who is a Connor Hawk stan, and she goes off about how they just bring him up oh, he's ace. And then he's gone.
I was so mad too, because I even told her, don't read DCKO #2. Don't do it. And she read it. I was like, oh. Because how are you going to put Connor Hawk in this fucking tournament only to get him eaten alive? Why? It doesn't make any sense. And it's that's why I even tell people, especially with events, I'll give DC this. I think there's a cool idea they're having where they're like, hey, you know that tie-in book that you don't really want to buy? We'll just put it up on DC Infinite for you. And I was like, you know what? I like that. You're going to skip your month policy of DC Infinite Ultra, and you're going to put out Cabinet Adams Superman on day one. I think that's a clever idea. Put the trade fodder up on the digital first. That way it's hey, they don't want to have to pick and choose and dip between everything for their wallets and whatnot. I know times are hard. Put the tie-ins up on day one. That's cool.
That makes perfect sense. So if you look at something like Empire came out during COVID. Yeah. There was 3 or 4, well, I think 1 completely got canceled. It was never done. But 2 or 3 books were made, but they weren't published. They were on paper shortages and everything. They just never published them. So when it came time to do the Omni, it came in the Omni. They were like, oh, we have the files, we just never printed the shit. So like
Right.
it's on Infinite and it's on it's on online and it's in the book. So it's like this
Yep.
is how you upscale the value of the trade in the book, the Omni,
Mhm.
and divert people to the fucking app, right? Because it's like, oh, you're gonna buy like the DC fans are buying KO, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
waiting for the trade because I'm a trade collector. But but like that's just my shit.
I feel it.
But like I will, and I'm probably gonna wait for the Omni because I want the big boy.
Oh, for
Uh
sure.
and but like we're buying the book regardless, right? We're
Yeah.
buying the event book. So like don't force people into this situation where it's like, oh man, this little bit story that's like kind of doesn't matter, but like it does matter, and it's like, oh, it's kind of like a cool thing, but like I'm buying the three main books already, and they're like
Mm,
$5 a pop. Like, am I pushing this to $20 now for this one
mhm.
visit? Like,
Imagine if they would have put, like, back when Civil War was coming out, if they would have put Civil War Frontline digital first, and that would have been a great way to hook people in to the rest of it. Like that's what I try to mean is like you
make
can
it digital first,
incentivize.
dude. I would have made the first like 2 or 3 issues free.
Oh, for
Like
sure. And
you just need an account to log in. You don't even need to pay for the unlimited subscription. You can read them for
like,
free.
well, and that's like it's so funny about that too, and where I kind of like where I finally hit the nail in the coffin, where I stopped listening to people about piracy conversations of them trying to justify piracy. DC and Marvel released 2 free books for the release of Deadpool or Batman Deadpool. There was the Flash Fantastic Four crossover, and there was the Thor Shazam crossover. These books were free on both apps. You don't even have to pay. You just got to make an account. You can read it for free. And yet the same day, they put it on the pirate site. And I sat there and went, y'all have gone too far. You've lost the plot. You're telling me
the
you
people who are
can't
doing
even
it
make an app, bro.
the people who are constantly, the people who pirate everything are pirating everything. They are not making these decisions on a book to book basis. Like I've seen it. I know the community names or whatever, the groups. They've got whole there's squads out there doing all this. Like there's team names, if you will. They
I
got
didn't know about that.
yeah, there's team names that are doing this stuff. And it's like they're all doing it, and they're all doing all of it. They're doing everything you could get, everything that's available digitally. Now, to me, that reads these people at least have the digital subscriptions.
Oh, for real?
So like somebody's paying for it.
Yeah.
And so like there's that little bit of
Somebody.
like, well, like somebody paid for it. So like, okay. But at the same time, like, it kind of, it's like, again, double-edged sword, in my opinion. I get to read the first issue of a new Marvel or DC series, or even like a money shot. Like I'll be honest.
I love Money Shot.
I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't have picked that up in a store.
Of course you wouldn't.
That would have felt a type of way. I'd have been in there being like, that's weird. I would. Why would anyone ever do such a thing? Right?
Picking up a Money Shot in store is like picking up Monster Masune in a store. You just don't do it. I get what you're saying in that regard, but it's also
a fun fucking story.
Yes,
and
I'm
like, all right, well, I'm gonna be on that trade then, because like I did enjoy the fucking story. It's
for sure.
But
I always tell people that like there's a certain conversation to be had about people like yourself who say like, hey, I'm gonna look at an issue 1 and then I'm gonna go buy this shit. And I've even found out recently from talking to my store, like a couple stores around me, you can still like tell DC and Marvel that you would like to see more of a book if you pre-order the trade, which is super cool. But it's like, what if something like Mr. Terrific Year 1 that only was 6 issues, there was no way to lengthen it, or like Black Lightning, Brian Edward Hill was on Twitter telling people, if you pre-order this, DC says we can get more issues. hardly any pre-orders. And I was like, that sucks. That sucks so much ass, because so many people were so quick to be like, oh, I don't want to read. I would rather pirate. I don't know how to pre-order. I don't know when the book's coming out because DC doesn't promote it more. And it's like,
those are all bullshit answers. Those are all bullshit reasons. At the end of the day, this is all digital. If you're online fucking finding the bootleg, you can be online finding the fucking FOC. Like,
well, because
let's be honest,
I'll give you that, but like I'm gonna make a video about this later today, because there was this girl who was super excited about seeing different things on TikTok about people being like, hey, I'm reading Absolute Batman. Hey, I'm reading Wonder Woman. Wanted to look into comics and whatnot. She made one of those like TikToks of researching and whatnot, but then she found out there was no LCS in her town, and I was like, okay, here's Midtown Comics. Here's where you can go to pre-order.
Midtown, Westfield, like there's a dozen of them.
There's so many great ways to pre-order. There's a dude called Crunch Time Comics and Cards. He followed me. He loved the idea of the podcast when I first announced it. He just started his own shop. He doesn't have a location yet, but he's buying stuff from Lunar and Penguin, trying to do mail order for people. He's a one-man band trying to do mail order for people, because he believes in trying to get people stuff that like they don't have a shop near them. And he's telling people in my Discord like, hey, let me know if you need something, I'll pre-order it, yada yada. And I love that, because it shows that people do care. And like I genuinely feel like there are people who care. There are people that wanna support and stuff like that. But then I see people who, even when I say, hey, Bitterroot has a follow-up book coming out called The Next Movement that really could use your support, fuck it, I'm a pirate. I'm like, y'all got me fucked up. Like, it's so frustrating when it's like there are so like we literally saw Grimm just get optioned for Netflix from Stephanie Phillips, and it's like, there's so many people who pirated that book. Or I remember when Jim Zub first told everybody about Recomic Online, and all these creators were going and finding out how many clicks their books had. And I remember Joe Glass saying, if half of these people would have picked up Pride, I would have been able to pay for Christmas. And I was like, that got me real butt hurt, because for like, it's frustrating to hear those conversations, because I've been there. I've pre-ordered back issues. I used to say, I'm going to keep bootlegging back issues until all of Milestone is on DC Infinite. And you know what? All of it's on there except for 2 issues of Milestone Forever. I can live with that, because to be honest, Milestone Forever really wasn't that great. I can live without it. But like, I've seen DC go from being power hungry and wanted to make their app be comic reading and streaming, to only making a comic reading and making it be great. I've seen Marvel Unlimited take so many strides to where they're trying to appeal to people. They took Jeff the fucking Land Shark from being just a fun little gimmick on the app to being a mega star in a video game. Like, there's people who care. I had a conversation with David Pepos, and I'm going to talk to Melissa Flores later this week when I interview her for Power Rangers Prime, because she's written some stuff for Marvel Unlimited. I want to keep that conversation going and find someone to talk to. I hear from the published, like from the creators, that they really don't value digital. I need them to value digital. They have to. There needs to be larger windows of, hey, maybe let a book get to 8 to 10 issues or 12 issues. And over the course of 6 months, let's see the clicks of Marvel Unlimited. Let's see the clicks of Neon Ichiban or whatever, or Comixology, and see how many people are picking up this book. Because the one that really did it in for me was when Iceman was coming out. It was a mini, and they had said, hey, if you pre-order, we can keep it going. They relaunched it again and kept it going for 6 more, and it got a GLAAD award, and then it still got canceled. And I was just like, you got me so jacked up. And it's like, there has to be a way for them to consider digital a logical way for the future, because we are literally in the digital age. I can pick this damn thing up and read DC on my phone. Hell, DC Imminent just announced they're opening up the app to other Eastern countries, and that was one of the big pushbacks I see in my comments a lot is, oh, I'm in a different country, I can't read, I can't go to a comic shop and pre-order. So what happens to me, someone who's been loving Green Arrow, loving these books and whatnot? I started this GoFundMe, this change.org petition to get Green Arrow stopped from being canceled. And Scott Snyder's telling people, oh, it's because of sales. Well, sorry, Scott, these people in freaking the UK and wherever the fuck else are reading freaking Green Arrow and they don't get a say. That sucks ass. Maybe if you guys started considering digital more, you might keep longevity in something other than freaking Bruce Wayne.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Are UK sales not part of their numbers?
So I don't know. I don't know for a fact about UK because I know for a fact that
that feels like where Green Arrow should be like popping in UK.
You would think, but I
they'd be loving that Robin Hood.
From what I recall, UK's distribution is different than the US. They don't get stuff. They don't get stuff immediately. But I also know, perfect example, Brazil. Brazil has a lot of DC fans. That was why when Gal Gadot went down for Brazilian Comic-Con, they went, ooh, everyone's loving Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman 1984. Let's make Yara Flor. And then the sales were horrible because there's not a lot of comic shops in Brazil. So Yara Flor got kicked to the back of the Wonder Woman Pantheon pile.
I'm sorry. They had a perception that people were loving Wonder Woman 84?
Yeah, because the Brazilian fans were coming. They saw people hyped for Gal Gadot and they thought it was gonna be hype, and then it wasn't
out of here. That fucking what a terrible fucking movie.
Life is good, but it can get better.
Fam, let me tell you, I was mad at that whole movie. Every like hype thing they did was like, oh, the armor, and she finally gets the armor, gets ripped apart the first fight, first 10 seconds. I was like, what the fuck was the point of his armor? Besides she can fly. I'm like, she can already fly. Like, okay. And then let's not even talk about the essay. That's a conversation most people don't want to have.
Nope.
And then on top of that, the last fucking scene with fucking Max Lord. And the kid shows up and he's like, oh, my son, da-da-da. And it got the tear out of me. And can I tell you, the moment that tear hit my fucking cheek, I was like, you didn't deserve that, you pieces of shit. I'm like, he didn't care about that fucking kid the whole movie.
It makes me so mad, too, because I feel so bad for Pedro, because genuinely, I don't know who at DC convinced old girl to put Pedro in that movie or put Max Lord in that movie, period, because that feels like a producer idea. Oh, she snapped a motherfucker's neck once. That's a Wonder Woman villain. Are you sure about that? Like, she did it one time and we never talked it about again.
And the thing about that one, that was a, hey, you know, all this other stuff, you know, this like 100-year history at this point of Wonder Woman like de-escalating the situation. Yeah, this is just a reminder that this woman is a warrior. Yeah. And if she sees like, oh, there's no way out of this. Oh, if I let you go, you're just gonna take over Superman again and make him kill people. All right, I'm a soldier at the end of the day. I'm gonna solve this problem. That's what that moment was. Because I listened to the and I think I want to have you and Astro. I want to re-listen to it again. The book about the creator and Wonder Woman in general. And I really want to talk about that because there's a lot.
Marston, Marston's great.
That whole story, and it's like the whole history of it. Of there wasn't a woman writer on Wonder Woman for like 20 years.
Oh yeah, it was like, bad. You got all
these elements, and like we just are now getting the first Black woman to rock the main one line Wonder Woman book.
And it's so exciting too because like Stephanie Williams has been grinding. That woman has been
Hard.
putting in so much work. If you read her stuff at like Mad Cave or Ignition, that woman, like just the book she's doing for Mad Cave right now called Temporal, like you see this like understanding of love and understanding of like family elements. You like her brand new book at Ignition called Roots of Madness is so complex that I'm excited to see what she can do with these concepts more. Her Nubia was so damn good. And I'm just like, if you bring in new, fresh blood to tell these unique and fresh perspectives, you're going to do so well because you got lucky with Marston. Marston, like, if you read his, like the book about him or you watch the Robert Kirkman portion of his, like, his superhero history series on Amazon Prime and you hear about that, or you watch the DC special they did on CW like a few years ago about Wonder Woman, you hear the stories about how, like people joke about Tom King making Bruce Wayne a soy boy to marry Catwoman. No, like, if anything, I don't like giving Tom King credit, but like, if anything, he made Bruce Wayne more like Marston in a lot of weird ways, where he finally made him actually be a real man and feel, where it's like Marston is one of those few guys who came into a room in a really toxic masculine era and said, y'all really need to get a symbol for women in here, and y'all need to actually do shit. Granted, man had a little too much interest in bondage at times. I'm gonna keep it a stack, but like, other than that, dude was doing some really cool stuff, and we don't appreciate that enough. And we have this generation of women who have come up reading Diana. We've had a revolution when it comes to things like Kelly Sue DeConnick reinventing Carol Danvers, and then the fucking grifters got a hold of her and called her Carl Manvers. And then you read her work with Bitch Planet, and you read Grimm with Stephanie Phillips, and you see all these different women who have come up reading stuff like Diana, and they see these unique perspectives, and it blows my mind because it makes me wonder, how would you ever think to pirate when these women are trying so hard to get up to the big two level, or at least leave their landmark on comic books for women? But I see some of these titles having like 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 clicks, because like I always tell people, hey, if you look at Recomic Online, consider like a fourth of the clicks as like the actual readership, because people have to come back later. People have to like put, like, they can't leave a tab open forever type shit. They refresh the page and shit like that. So not every click is gonna be that. So do like a fourth of it. But even then, a fourth is still a lot. And it's like, how many of those could have kept a book going?
Agreed, man. And it's very it's a dicey space. Especially I mean, like, plus on top of that, realistically, that site is especially, I end up there. I'll be honest. I end up there to get pages when somebody's talking out the side of their face, and I'm like, let me grab this fucking page because I know what they're talking about. Like, because I have it, but I'm like, I'm at work, so I don't have my book with me. So like, let me just get this fucking page real quick so I can tell them why they're fucking dumb. So I was laughing
too. What was it? Rob from Comics Explained posted a panel from the new Batman, Absolute Batman issue on Twitter. He forgot to crop out the Recomic Online bumper, and everybody ate him alive for pirating. And I was like, damn, my idol's getting chewed the fuck out. This sucks,
dude. Well, it's funny. Well, here's the thing. You may not even realize it. The only post I've ever made on the YouTube channel for this was like a Rob Liefeld hate post. And I just literally Googled the whatever the scene was, and I just right click copied. Like, I didn't even think about what site it was sourcing. So I was just like right click copy, pasted it in the post, posted it, came back to it like a week later, like opened the post fully, and I saw the bumper, and I was like, oh, I'm like, somehow I'm more satisfied with this post now because fuck Rob Liefeld. But like, it's like, and that's the other thing. Like, how many? Because it's a public site that Google crawls, right? How many of those clicks are image results? How many of those? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of variables to that, because that's the thing. Is like I said, I came across that image just in a Google search. It was just like a
Mm,
legit Google search. And I was just like, I didn't even see the bumper because it crops the image when it shows you the result. I was
right.
just like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Just an example of how shitty his fucking foot drawings are. like,
That's why I pull a lot of my covers from the wiki a lot of the time because the wiki will have a lot of the
yeah.
covers I need.
Yeah, I
But
jump
like
on the wiki.
yeah, the wiki is a great resource because they actually will give you covers. But like sometimes you just gotta pull from that because like having to go into the apps and screenshot can be a
It's
pain in the
it's a
ass.
pain in the ass, man. Like that's the thing is that was that like the one like uh counter argument to the apps that I have is that they are kind of a pain in the ass to get to the stuff. Like the fact that I have to click like 4 times to read an issue on Infinite is
Mm.
wild to me. And it's like, and then on top of that, I don't know how what their like cataloging process is, but they just stop runs. They are like, oh, okay, cool. We got
Yeah.
7 issues up. There's 43 issues of the series. Why is there only 7 up? That's not
Yeah,
even like that's not even like a
that's
complete storyline.
it's
Like, what are
really
you doing?
weird. Or like I was hunting through Blade back issues, and a lot of Blade's back issues aren't on Marvel Unlimited, and it's a pain in the ass trying to go through certain characters. But or like just the searching for a character can be difficult on those apps. I feel like they need to invest in actually having like archivists who know the lore and know the history to like a major site that I love to this day is comicbookherald.com because those dudes their site ain't the greatest in terms of interface, but those dudes will sit there and make an entire reading order for a character, and you're thankful because those dudes.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah. Okay, I've gotten to that.
yeah, I don't know if they're still doing stuff, but Comic Book Herald I will always be thankful for because those dudes genuinely will sit there and piece them apart and go through stuff. Their whole site is dedicated to having reading orders, and it's so nice where it's like, could you have a better interface? Yeah, but like hosting's expensive, and I ain't mad at you for that. And it's like you genuinely put the time and energy into updating these reading orders, make sure people know about shit. They categorize it by like DC, Marvel, all comic publishers. They do their best to give you reading orders. Like if it weren't for them, I wouldn't know half the Blade books because Marvel does a piss poor job of that. That's why I give more like understanding and levity to the apps sometimes. But then there's like Batman. You know every fucking Batman issue is going to be on there. Why the fuck? Like just go read it on the app or
Yeah.
like there's certain things like that where I just kind of tilt my head and go, yeah, you ain't got $10, my guy. You ain't got $10. Like hell, sometimes it's $7. Like now, if you tell me I can't subscribe to every book on my pull list, sure. I ain't even mad at you, homie. Whatever. But like, if it's available on the app, I have less validity to your like your concerns at that point.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. Look, reality of it is, so like in my many years of being bootlegging comics, like I downloaded my share. Can I tell you, I have shit on there that I am never going to read. You know what I'm saying? Because you get into that headspace of like, oh hell yeah, I'll download the entire run of Batman all the way back to the beginning. When the fuck am I reading 5,000 comic books? Like sitting in front of my computer. Like I'm never gonna do that. Like literally with Batman, I'm like, I got Hush, I got fucking Black and White, I got fucking the Tim Sally omnibus. I've got that coming in. Like I've got the ones that I want, and that's what I got. And
did you say Tim Sale is Tim Sally?
I don't fucking know how it's pronounced. Him and fucking dude. When I found out it was Busek, I wanted to kill someone. I was like, Busiak, right? It's been Busiak the whole time.
No, it's Busek.
I was like, dude, I find out some of because like the other one that I always fucking fuck up is Chris Bacalo. Because I had a customer. I used to run a comic shop. I had a customer that called him Bacalo. He was Bacalo. So I was like, sure. I don't fucking know. Like maybe you know better than me. Like
it was funny. I'm prepping this freaking Superman Spider-Man video real quick after we're done, and I straight up had to look up who was it? I had to look up one of the artist names because I was like, I'm gonna spell this wrong. I'm gonna get real. It was Steve Lieber. I had to look up Steve Lieber's name because I'm like, I'm gonna say this wrong. I was like so worried it was gonna be Lieber, and then I look up a YouTube video where someone interviewed him. He said Lieber. I'm like, thank God. And it was just like I was right the first time. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah. No, certain people like I like make an assumption of how it's pronounced, and then dude, certain shit. So I read what was it called? It was Before the Crossing. What the fuck was the wrong called? Where is it? No, it is The Crossing. No, The Crossing's the Tony Stark one. The one before that. The Gathering, something like that. Anyway,
something like that.
The Avengers run where it was Black Knight and now I come to find out Cersei, which makes sense, right? Because they're all named after like mythological characters.
Yeah, Greek shit, yeah.
40 fucking years, 30 fucking years, I've been pronouncing it Cersei. Because it's Sersi. That's Cersei to me. And I'm watching the movie and they're like Cersei, and I'm like it makes sense. But like every time someone called out her name during that movie, I'm like, they're saying it wrong. In my head, I'm like, they're saying it wrong.
It'd be like that sometimes. Like, hell,
it was like 30 years. That was the way it's done.
I will always feel bad for James Tinian because to this day, it's like Tiny Onion. Sure, let's go with that.
but that's his tag, isn't it? Tiny Onion?
Yeah, that's the brand now. But it's like for so long, it kept being like, is it James Tinian the Fourth or James Tinian the Fourth? Screw it. Tiny Onion. It's just like I love that reference to this day.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. Like I tell people about certain creators, and they're like, I don't know who that is, and then they read the name, they're like, oh yeah, and then they say it a different way, and I'm like, but why would you say it that way? Like I tell people like Carlos Pacheco, rest in peace. Like that was one that really hurt me because I'm a huge fan. I was always a huge fan of his work. So and then it was one of those like suffer in silence situations. Like I didn't know, you know, like Perez, people knew, right?
Yeah,
and he had beaten it at one point. He was kind of on the mend. So for it to come back around, like that fucking sucked to find out. But like Perez, it was like they had talked about it in Wizard, like I had known in some fashion, and then Pacheco was
you ever want to read a really depressing ass story? Look up Steve Gerber. Steve Gerber will break your fucking heart, bro. The things Marvel did to Steve Gerber will haunt me for a long time. That made me learn early on when researching for comic journalism shit to never be like to never trust corporate people because Steve Gerber, the creator of Howard the Duck, went through hell, and it really taught me early on to be wary of shit because man, Steve Gerber went through hell.
Dude, they I mean, that's the other fucking factor of it is like a lot of the reason we talk about these well, I think there's, you know, I think you'll agree with me. There's a couple things that we talk about in regards to piracy, right? There's the effect on the character, right? Are we going to get more Mr. Terrific stories? Are we going to get more Static stories? It's like that is a huge effect, of course. But then also the creators of these books, right? Because a lot of these books, especially when they're like less known characters or less popular characters, they don't give it to a major writer. They don't give it like, because it's not the 90s anymore. In the 90s, you gave fucking Mark Waid of anything. Oh, you want to do Kazar? Here, fucking do fucking Kazar.
I don't know. I want to know how Mark Waid sleeps right now, bro, because they got Mark Waid doing so much shit right now. I want to know how that man sleeps. Like between him and Dan Mora, I want to know how they get some sleep. Like them motherfuckers are slaves. I worry.
dude. I tried to order a sketchbook from Dan Mora. And I think I did actually end up buying it, but the shit was because he's not in the fucking US, brother. The shipping on that bitch was a pain. It was more in the book.
To this day, one thing that I will always be so sad about, Sanford Green is my favorite artist of all time. Dude did a Blade sketch that he put up on his website, and I wanted it so bad, but I was broke and I missed the window, and it will haunt me to the rest of my days, bro. Like I will be so haunted by that because man, it was like Tomb of Dracula 10 Blade, and it looks
Ooh,
so good. And the day I saw that shit was sold out, I was depressed.
I feel
But
that. I feel
I
that.
definitely agree with you though when it comes to the creator side of things because they go through so much they go through so much stuff, and I've heard conversations with people like with different creators of like if they don't go do creator owned work, if they don't go do stuff for other publishers that aren't DC and Marvel, they can't pay their bills.
They
Like
can't. They can't because
it's insane.
they're not getting paid any kind of realistic fucking math.
Hmm.
Because look, again, it's not the 90s. A lot of people like to I hesitate to use Comic Hub because the thing because you source it a lot. A lot of people source it a lot, especially for numbers. But the what we need to understand as a community, Comic Hub is not used by all stores. Comic
Right.
Hub is not even used by most stores.
Yeah.
Like
I miss the days
it's
of
a
like that's the
fraction.
one
It's
thing
like a
of yeah.
third of the books.
That's
So
why I
I
miss
really
Diamond
don't.
sometimes. Yeah, as much as I
They
hate
had the list. They had the
like
list.
I hate the I wish like Lunar and Penguin could get on the same fucking page because if you could trust a platform to be like here's everything, it would make things so much more transparent, and
Yeah,
it's so
but they don't want to
frustrating that
do
we don't
that.
have that.
They don't want to do that because they're taking they're taking the methodology from the Netflixes and the fucking HBO Maxes,
Hmm.
right? It's you don't tell them what numbers you're doing. You just say what's popular. That's
Hmm.
why Netflix has a top 10 list in America, top 10 in the world, da da da. Okay, wait, but
Yeah.
how many people watched this episode? How many people watched this show, watched this movie? Right? Because that
Hmm.
will give us a better understanding of things. Obviously, they have that math, but then what ends up happening is the community comes through and says, hey, let's say I don't know, like what's a mid like a 2,000 copy order pre-order on an issue one, right? For a
Hmm.
small title, right? Like
Yeah.
a lesser known character. 2,000 copies. There's regular books that come out regularly that only sell 1,200.
Oh,
So
for sure.
2,000 is a decent number.
Yeah.
But if they're like, well, this is a number one and we didn't get 4,000 because that was just an arbitrary number they came up with, they're gonna be like, all right, we're only gonna do 5 issues.
Oh, for
We
sure.
didn't get 4,000 or we didn't get 5,000 initial. And I'm like, but the 2,000 you got are the people that want to read this fucking book.
Most definitely, and it speaks to how like I will say, Comic Hub is a very much similar to like how video game people treat Steam charts. Steam charts are a good estimate because like they tell you a story, but like it's not the end all be all because you can't see Xbox numbers, you can't see PlayStation numbers and such. So like it's not a perfect one for one, but it gives you an idea of like sort of like a dip in the toe of like what's going on. But like hell, look at like November's Comic Hub list. DC's eating Marvel alive. Like Marvel doesn't know what the hell they're doing right now. The thing that I keep going back to is what Sal from Comic Pop said one time, where it feels like for several years now, it feels like nobody at Marvel is driving the bus. They just keep going. Fuck it, like whatever, let people like when Jason Aaron was running everything for a hot minute because of how good Thor was, then they put him on Avengers. Shit was a mixed bag, but at least you can say the ship was running pretty good, the bus was driving all right.
That Avengers run
Now
is heat. I don't care what anybody says.
oh, like, at least the first couple of volumes I still stand by to this day. I haven't read the whole thing, but
No,
like
all the way through the fucking dude, the build, the expansion of the mythos,
mhm.
the back catalog. Now you could do a samurai Ghost Rider story if you wanted to right now,
Yeah,
dude. Come on,
it's
and this is
insane.
616 canon. This isn't
Yup.
alt reality. Come on, man.
Yeah. It's very interesting. And it's just like, I feel like if we could reach a transparency where like DC and Marvel would tell us more interesting numbers about DC Infinite and Marvel Unlimited, we could have a conversation from a journalistic standpoint of, okay, why won't you care more about digital?
Yeah.
Why won't you see more value in digital? Because if you're going to be like, hey, yo, we're going to put Captain Atom versus Superman up on the app, that's awesome. You're doing a cool idea there. Put tie-ins on the app. But are you tracking who's reading it? Are you tracking who's clicking it? Yeah. Because if you can trust that, if you can start trusting in what's going on there, maybe we could have a different dynamic on things. And that's where I kind of want to leave that.
Bro, can I tell you where they need to take the approach? So when you mentioned Neon Ichiban, I hadn't heard about it. And I was like, well, let me go check this out right away. Like, I need to find out what this is because I need to be aware of what's going on out here. And come to find out, they have the same policy as it were that Comixology used to have.
Yeah, because it was created by the founders of Comixology.
There's a free comics tab.
Yep.
And guess what I was able to do in about 7.5 minutes?
What'd you get?
Purchase digital copies of about 15 fucking books that I'd never heard of before. I'm like, this cover looks cool. This title looks interesting. Oh, that's a cool pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. What was I able to do right there? Expose myself to a ton of fucking content, ton of new creators, and their whole catalog, by the way, like not whole catalog, but like a bunch of their shit is on there as ash cans. How is this not a standard practice? How are you not, as Disney, Marvel, DC, how are you not saying, oh, well, you know what? You're not sure where to start? Here's every number one. You Batman Rebirth #1, Batman fucking New 52 #1, previous run, let's say first arc from 2000. Like pick, like when Morrison came on, pick that first issue, hit all the firsts from all the eras.
Yeah.
Here's the first issue of this era. See if you want to start there.
Or better yet, like there should be more things on sales. I remember, like to this day, one of my favorite times was like when Comixology was its own separate website, and like once a year, Marvel would just be like, you know what? Coates' whole Black Panther free. Here's a whole list of comics that are free for 10 days. Yep. And you could go through and just scoop up shit. I have Coates' whole Black Panther. I have a bunch of shit. Like I have events. I have Civil War. I have a bunch of other shit that's just digital, fully complete. And it's like, if you could, there's no, like, especially with them releasing the compact comic editions now that are like literally just dog water paper that you could put up, like to the point that like even the TikTok shop is selling compact editions. I'm like, yo, easily you could put up Civil War for free. You could put up the original Infinity Gauntlet for free, and people would be exposed and want to read more and things like that, and they don't do it.
Dude, the opportunity, because look, realistically, like I said, I end up on Read Comics Online because I'm looking for a page. That site is littered with pop-ups. I cannot explain to you. I have a great pop-up blocker. That site is impossible to deal with. And I'm good at this. Like I am 42 fucking years old. I've been doing online for 25 fucking years. I am good at this. And I'm still like 12 seconds in. I've closed out shit a bunch of fucking times, and I'm like, done. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm already sick of it. So like, it's not, but if you say, hey, we're Marvel, here's a safe fucking website where you can come through and read this classic event, Infinity War, the original Infinity War. Come read it for free. All you need is a login. You just need a login. You don't need to pay anything. You just need to be able to log in. You can add it to your library right now. You'll always have access to it as long as you have an account. That's it. What does that hurt them? It doesn't. What does it gain them? It gains them a person, an email, right? Everybody wants that email list, and a person who has a reason to go into the app and a reason to look at the app. And then you do your marketing shit. Hey, I see you like Infinity War. Have you heard about Infinity Crusade? Have you heard about Infinity Crisis or whatever the fuck it was called? Like here's 16 Infinity Warps. You like mixed characters? Infinity Warps. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like here's
that
all
event gave me a headache. But it's like you make a really good point, and it's like there's even sometimes with like DC Infinite and Marvel Limited now where they do that shit to a certain degree. But it's also like there's so much potential to avoid those platforms if you actually have stuff to like of value to give to people. And I tell people that all the time is that like once the apps get to these other countries and they are available at a decent price, I'm gonna stop listening to the piracy conversation.
Nah.
You like now I will the one thing because I forget someone made a video today that irritated me that they said, yo, if you're reading comics on this app and someone tells you you're not a real fan, don't listen to them. They're a bum. And I was like, there's something to be said about that conversation because I'm not going to say you're not a real fan. I'm going to say you don't care about the industry.
I'm going to say you don't have a respect for the content or the characters or the industry or the creators. You don't have a respect for it. Because like realistically, like I said, I fully admit I've done my fucking share of bootlegging, but I've also spent thousands of dollars.
Oh, for sure.
I go to comic shop. I literally
there's stuff to be bag and boarded behind me that I still need to.
I went to Barnes and Noble and I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pick up a couple indie books. I'm gonna pick up a couple mainstream books because I want Barnes and Noble to know this shit moves.
Now, granted, I will say there's something to be said about the argument of like, ayo, like flexing your wealth is something that like a mutual brought up recently that kind of annoyed me. But at the same time, there's something to be said about like, hey, yo, FOMO is a motherfucker. FOMO is a really big issue when it comes to the culture. You see people talking about Absolute Batman. Not only that, there's a lot of people on TikTok lives that like to talk about power scaling. And you even kind of mentioned, hey, yo, I can reach into Read Comic Online and grab a scan and put it up and be like, Superman moved a planet before Crisis on Infinite Earths. Right. And talk like that and shit. And it's like, there's that pressure to know about shit and to read a bunch of shit. And granted, I like the apps are spotty, but like there's a lot of stuff that you can just binge. Like I binged all of Milestone in like 3 months a while back for a reread. Like there's a lot of stuff on there that you can do. But I will say the pressure and the FOMO is something that we need to talk about. That's a cultural shift we have to do. That's not, hey, yo, that's an excuse. It's we need to start changing the narrative, changing the culture, start having those conversations, those dialogues to be like, fuck the people trying to power scale. Fuck the people on the TikTok live.
That's why I made a video about it because now the fucking publishers are doing the power scaling conversation, and right there because somebody Panaloids had the writer of the new Hulk book, and he brought up, oh well, there's some people that like to power scale, and right there I was like, all right, you better get your fucking money in. You better get your fucking ducats out because if you're going to fucking make the industry shift to your bullshit, you better be buying these fucking books because I don't want to hear shit. I don't want to hear shit about power scaling if you don't have those books in hand. Nah, don't you show me your book. Nah, you don't have authority on the subject unless you have these books in hand. I don't want to hear
the way I tell people is that like I'm not going to show you like a scan or show you some shit. I just have the knowledge because I've sat in the libraries reading the trades. I've read the wikis.
The library is the biggest hack and people don't know.
Well, there's something to be said about the libraries because like there's been defunding of libraries. There's been issues of libraries and whatnot. I will say the library should always be your first option. There's even been moves by libraries across the country to where you can get digital library cards. Like say if I live in Ohio, I can get a library card in California if I want to. I can go get a library card in Idaho if I want to because they've been making those moves with Hoopla and shit like that. So there's more of an expansion on those concepts. They're just really strict about their DRM that way you don't steal their shit. So it's like,
which is fine, but like realistically, like that's the whole premise is like, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you can still go and buy rent a CD at the library and like rent a DVD at the library. They know some of these people are jacking these copies.
Yeah, but what's so nice about it is
because for some people it's just like this is the way I can watch something. Because for some people, like there was a period of my life where I couldn't afford to buy shit. You know?
Oh yeah,
and
look,
I'm in a different position now. And look, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. These are bad financial decisions. I love comic books. I am the motherfucker that loves this shit. these are bad financial
bro.
decisions.
I was real
My
honest
wife,
with
my
my.
wife literally, I told her, I was like, oh yeah, the thing was closed. So I ended up going to Barnes and Noble. She literally looked at me. She's like, why the fuck do I even work? I'm like, so you can pay for my fucking trips.
Oh, bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Whatnot reached out to me for a partnership for a thing for like that I'm about to cook up, and they were like, "Here's some credit, go make a video about it." I was like, "So there's this thing from New York Comic Con from last year that I've really wanted. I'm gonna go get it." And like the cool thing about Whatnot is that like there's some of it's a shop, some of it's live streamed and bidded
Yeah,
on. So
yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna just take this and run, and it was just like, hey. So like sometimes it'd be like that, and like, and that's like, oh, that's like that's content creator, but like stuff like that. But like, there's something to be said about the FOMO conversation because I've had my eye on this book for months, and I've had like watches on eBay for it. I'm not going to do anything on. I'm not going to spend frivolously. I would rather eat than pay for some shit that I can't afford, and not enough people are willing to say I would rather eat than read. I would. They're going. I would rather pirate because I can't afford it. Hey, maybe you don't have to engage in the conversation
Yeah,
for a little bit.
yeah.
Maybe you're so pressured. Why? That's the same reason why Australia is trying to stop kids under 16 from being on the internet when it comes to social media right now, and it's a hot button topic. It's because so at a younger age you were taught that the screen mattered so much. Hey, maybe it doesn't. Maybe
Yep.
you need to put it down a little bit and just read something because your brain's getting fried because you think you have to be in the conversation constantly. And it's
And
just like, yeah.
that's dude, that's such a great point because that's been part of actually. So I ended up setting up a new computer, and this rig down here is like this was gonna be like where I was gonna. This is my laptop that I'm recording this on. I'm like, this is gonna be like my podcast station, and this is where my like
Mhm.
my because I have from all my Kickstarters and shit, I've got about 160 gigabytes of indie comics.
Oh, wow.
Again, kids, bad financial decisions. I had debt. We got into a position where we were able to get a new place. Like there was a whole lot of things, but like we were not without help.
Hmm.
This has not been like oh, I've just got it like that.
Well,
It's very much been like tightening up the fucking waistband some years, like some months it's like, hey, I don't get to fucking do Kickstarters.
yeah.
We're literally about to start the new year with a conversation about the budget. We're going to try to get back into it like a really more streamlined kind of thing. So like
Hmm.
these are conversations we have as fucking adults. We got shit to do. We
Yeah.
got shit happens. Like the fucking dishwasher was out for like a month and a half.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like shit happens. Shit is gonna come up. So like you got to make these choices. But like I'll be honest with you, I was the new mainline books like the X-Men and shit because I really like X-Men was my shit, has always been my shit,
Hmm.
and I was really like throughout Krakoa I was like, oh, I'm like itching for it. Like as
Hmm.
soon as I got the hardcover and I read the fucking Hox Pox, I was like, I need it all, and I need to be on top of it now. And then it like fizzled out with the fucking fall. I'm still mad about it. Like
I still say
Krakoa.
that like all Hickman had to do was have Destiny pull a trigger. All they needed to do was let Destiny kill Moira, and we could have had Krakoa forever. But they didn't want to do it, and
No,
now
no,
it's to
no,
the
no, no.
point.
We would have she no, it would have reset.
No, because she was on her last life. She was on her last life. She had
Nah.
no more, and
But she
all you
didn't
needed.
though.
No, because she said like no. Destiny told her at that one point that you got one last round of shit, and all Destiny needed to do was pull that trigger, and we could have had that because it got to the point where they said, "Hey, yo, Krakoa's in Marvel Rivals," and I was like. Maybe we should let Krakoa stay, guys. Maybe we should stop trying to delete the X-Men's like status quo every 5 minutes, guys. Because now the cultural zeitgeist thinks the Hellfire Gala is a normal thing, guys, and it's just like you ruined a good thing by
Dude,
having
it was
drama.
such a good thing. It the problem with Marvel in reality, as far as like editorial and whoever's in charge at any given time, is
Mm-hmm.
these guys who grew up with it a certain way. And this is
Yeah.
not new. This is not a new problem.
Oh yeah,
If
no.
you go back to the early 90s, the like moment, the X-Men moment, right? Where the X-Men #1 with the new costumes and everyone's like, oh, Jim Lee, best-selling comic of all time. Yeah. But guess what? That only happened because he got Chris Claremont to quit.
Yeah.
Because Chris was about to kill off Magneto, kill off Wolverine, and move the story forward.
Mhm.
And Jim Lee literally went to editorial and was like, yeah, like I came to work for Marvel because I wanted to draw Wolverine and Magneto. And so they were like, hey, Chris, could you not? And he was like, all right, I'm going to go then.
And it's one of those things of like it's the stagnation of comic books that like between that incident with Claremont and Jeff Johns bringing back Hal and Barry that I keep telling people the stagnation of comic books is why we don't have new innovative stories. Like say
Kyle
what you
had a
say.
fan base. We had an ongoing fucking Green Lantern series. Yeah, was Guy Gardner a fucking trash heap? Yeah, but you could rework Guy Gardner
for sure,
without having to bring back fucking Hal Jordan.
And I say it all the time that like there's something to be said about people who just want to play with the toys they played with when they were kids.
Yep.
Here's the thing. If I like randomly today, Jim Lee came to me and was like, hey, we're going to let you write. What do you want to do? I'm gonna tell you, Jim, respectively, I would want to push everything forward, and then I'm gonna walk over here and tell a Tim Drake Elseworld story, or better yet, I want to tell a Young Justice grows up story elsewhere, where it doesn't affect anything, it doesn't fuck with the status quo. I want to tell my Elseworlds book over here. That way I can get my toys to play with that I wanted, that I had when I was a kid. But we stop playing this Dan DiDio Nightwing makes Batman feel too old shit. And we can grow the fuck up. Because say what you will about Dan DiDio, Future State was a good idea on paper, but they did too much fucky shit with it. Like, oh, Shazam's gonna blow up the planet and Teen Titans have Red X and he's killing all the kids. And it was like, all you need to do is just push the timeline forward and tell new stories. But you started fucking with the bat.
Dude, yeah. you go back to 1 year later. 1 year later was an excellent execution. Hey, here's some shit that happened. We're in these new situations. Why? How? Here's this backstory. Here's this whole run of book that was super popular. Like 52 sold numbers.
Yeah.
52 sold fucking numbers. 52. I couldn't keep 52 on the shelf. Yeah. Because people were like, wait, what happened? Why is this? Why is that? Yeah, that's what you got to read. Why is Tim Drake in a new costume? You got to read 52. All right. That's how you do shit. Like, all right, we can move forward and have these different conversations and then also tell what happened in between and how we got there. The how we got there is what's interesting to people. But also, if you hit them with just a little bit of a jump forward, I mean, realistically, if you said we're going to cancel Amazing Spider-Man and we're going to start it a new book, and suddenly it's not Peter, and suddenly Amazing Spider-Man is headlining Miles, and you're like, but wait, what's going on?
What I would do?
And it was like, well, where's Peter? Oh, well, Peter Parker's over in Peter Parker Spider-Man. We were in that book because Peter Parker Spider-Man is about the fact that Peter Parker now has this, let's call her 7-year-old. Why does he have a 7-year-old? Oh, well, actually, the baby didn't die. Norman took her. Because that was a running fucking theory for a long time. And I'm like, he raised this, like this baby was raised somewhere. And Norman outright forgot about her. Why did he forget about her? Fucking, we can even bring it back to fucking One More Day. Mephisto fucked with Norman.
Here's the key to that. Here's the reason why I don't feel like we'll ever get that to happen the way we want to is we'll have another New 52 Superman and Action comic situation. What do I mean, kids? What I mean is that you had George Perez writing the mainline New 52 Superman, but then you had Grant Morrison writing the Action Comics, which was supposed to be a prequel story of Superman in his first year, and Grant couldn't get the story straight of is Pa Kent still alive or not, and George Perez is sitting here like, hey Grant, what am I supposed to do? Can you tell me what I'm supposed to do, Grant? And there was no communication. If you don't map out your universe properly, it's all gonna be a mess. And
that was the biggest problem with New 52. That's why the trinity of books was probably the worst corner of the New 52. I will argue this any day of the week. The best shit in the New 52 was the fucking weird books. Like the most popular of the characters was Aquaman, because it was Aquaman. It was fucking
because you had Johns writing it. You had Johns writing that shit.
Animal Man, Swamp Thing, and fucking Frankenstein, Agent of Shade, dude. That corner, the red, the gray, the fucking white, all this shit, all this the like mystical, natural side of things. That was the cool shit. Like, and I'm sorry, never prior to 2016 when I shotgunned literally shotgunned the New 52, all of it back to back. Because I was like, because what happened was I was reading Batgirl, and I was like, incorporated is fucking fire. Batgirl, Stephanie's rocking it. I'm fucking loving this book. And they're like New 52, and I'm like, fuck this. Literally hard ejected. Fucking full eject out of DC for 5 fucking years.
You want to know? You want to know what JP East like a nugget that not a lot of people know about? There was a New 52 campaign that a bunch of fans on YouTube and Tumblr started called Waffles for Steph, where we knew that Stephanie had a passion for waffles, and there was a day where we all mailed Eggo waffles to DC headquarters.
I love it.
And it was like, bring Stephanie back. And when Snyder and Tynan gave us her back in Eternal, I was crying because it was like, yo,
I was so pissed because it was like the thing that pissed me off was it was like Morrison was like, well, fuck it, I'm still doing this. I'm still doing Incorporated. So then DC was like, well, okay, well then everything has to have happened. It just happened in 5 years. I'm like, if you tell me the majority of Batman's history has happened in 5 years, he's even worse than he's ever actually been. Because now you're telling me he's gone through 4 fucking Robins in 5 years? You're a crazy person. He's a bad dad. That's it. He's a bad dad. He's a bad dad. He's a bad adult.
That's one of the only stains on Snyder's Batman is he has to take editorials thing of all this kind of happened, and it's like, did it really happen, Scott? It's like, no.
It didn't have to. You could have launched Red Robin in Titans as like, I like what they're doing. I'm just going to do my own shit. And that was the other fucking thing. Because for me, the 2 books leading up to New 52 that I am the most upset about was Red Robin and fucking Batgirl. I am a Red Robin as a fucking detective forever.
You've won my heart.
That's why when we started talking about in the Discord, we started talking about the fan verse. I was like, let me write a fucking Tim and Stephanie book. Let me write a Tim and Stephanie book where she gets the Batgirl for the first time because we said we agree. The canon agreed upon is that she's spoiler. I was like, she's given the mantle. If you want to do this, you can. And at the same time, Tim's like, I'm thinking about making this change. And he brings out the fucking suit and it has the cowl. And I'm like, this is the fucking, like, that's, to me, that's the evolution. Because if you go back all the way into Young Justice, Tim never fucking wanted to be Batman. That's why all those fucking Young Justice, the Teen Titans flash forwards where he's Batman, he even tells him, he's like, I never fucking wanted to be Batman. Like, that was never the point.
But here's my hot take, though. I will always dislike. That's why I always said that Jeff Johns is my biggest op. He's my Gwyneth Paltrow, where some days I hate you, but some days I love you. Because, like, I love his Ghost Machine. I love when he's allowed to cook elsewhere. But damn it, if he hasn't made some of the worst decisions in DC ever, like Barry and Hal, making Tim Drake as an adult be a villain, because there's something to be said about Tim having to tackle.
Pardon? Tim Drake is a villain?
Don't read Teen Titans by Jeff Johns. It'll traumatize you. But
you mean
like
that flash
Titans of
forward
Tomorrow.
thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That shit was dumb.
I genuinely feel like there needs to be a time frame where somebody like that would be if Jim was like, "What do you want to write?" I would be like, "I want to go fix Titans of Tomorrow," because there's a generation of fans that really wants to see Connor, Bart, Cassie, and Tim be the Justice League, and we've just never gotten it. It would literally be Connor, Tim, Cassie, and Bart, and Jackson all as the Justice League. And it would be iconic, and it would be phenomenal,
dude.
And no one will give it to me.
The first stage of that though has to be, in my opinion, because one of the best two eras pre New 52 was Dick being given the fucking keys to the league as Nightwing. Nightwing running the fucking league, fucking fire, and then Dick becoming Batman. Dick Batman and Damian Robin, that was heat. That was heat.
Yes,
because it was the role reversal. The super fucking dark grim one is the little guy, and the big guy is like kind of chill.
I always have a begrudging hatred for Morrison because of that era, because there's something to be said about Dick not consulting Tim about giving Damian the suit, because it's like that feels like a betrayal, and I get that's the point, but it's like, damn, that there had to be a better way to give him the Red Robin suit, and it's like it feels so wrong, because I really like what Dan Jurgens did with Batman Beyond Rebirth, where they said, hey, I don't think Damian would have fit as a Robin, because him going back and becoming the head of the demon and then later coming back as a prodigal son and being like an ally, love it. Love it. I even thought we were gonna get that with the era after Cry for Justice, the Snyder's Justice League, where Damian started locking up Black Mask and everybody, and then Bruce found out, and then he took the Robin suit away from him and shit, and then like there's this great panel of Damian ripping the symbol off his chest. I was like, thank you.
Can I tell you? I just thought of it. It would be perfect as a name. You call him Shadow. You just call him Shadow.
Just call him Shadow. Yeah, like let him be.
Like he's the shadow of the Bat.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Come on,
just separate.
That's the title of the book. That's what he calls himself. He comes out. He's a grimdark fucking character already. He's going through his tough teens, like
that's why I always hated Williamson's little Damian run, because it felt like him walking into editorial and being like, I can fix him, and I'm like, I don't want him to be fixed. I want him to be a fucking emo kid and go be the head of the demon. I don't want him to be a Robin. Stop putting him as a Robin. I don't like it.
That's why I really like the incessant need to keep everyone around. And it's like, and it bothers me the most in DC, because DC already has the established retirement of previous characters to become like the mentor level, right? Like, because what I was saying for Spider-Man, like, ride with me on this.
Okay.
Peter Parker Spider-Man, he's raising his child. That series is literally where other spiders come to him for advice. He is our fucking Jay Garrick.
Not even Jay Garrick. I've said for a long time that that Dan Slott torpedoed his own end for Peter Parker, because Parker Industries could have been the best way to let Peter retire. Like say what you will about Otto gave him Parker Industries, but no, that could have been your way to let Peter finally become the Elon Musk but better of the 2000s, the modern Tony Stark, and it would have been iconic. And then you transition him into Bruce's like Bruce's role in Batman Beyond, where he's the guy in the chair for Miles. you transition it perfectly, and it was like, oh, you just gave up. You gave up a great idea.
Secret Empire destroyed so many fucking things.
And it wasn't even Secret Empire. It was all new different Marvel because you randomly had him just being like, "Oh, I want to go fuck Mockingbird and my corporation's gone." And I was like, "The fuck? What are you doing?"
No. The finale was in Secret Empire.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right about that.
The breakdown was in Secret Empire, and it felt lazy at the time. It felt lazy. I was like, so wait, yesterday it was fine, but today it's like, oh, now we can just flip a switch and it's ruined, and it's actually all Hydra shit. And to solve it, we need to destroy the company. Now, what it could have been is you can't, like, first of all, you can't tell me this was the only product they had on the market, right? Like, what it could have been the beginning of a great arc of Peter then earning Parker Enterprises, because it kills the major stuff, but like he still owns the company, right? And then he has to build it back up, and he's like, well, I'm still in this position of control of this company. We don't have this huge product anymore. He's like, but I'm still a fucking inventor. I still know how to make shit. And then he could bring back the people from Horizon Labs, and then we build back up, right? We build Parker Industries back up, and then you could have that moment of partnering up with Tony on a project, right? All these like little things, and then just like the Fantastic Four announce a new invention being distributed by Parker Industries. Like, just like it could be that like mainstay. Like back in the day, that was the Four Freedoms Plaza. When Four Freedoms Plaza was a thing, you used to have these moments in comic books and cartoons. You would drop that in, and people would just know. It would just keep it in the zeitgeist. It goes to what you were saying about Vixen. Like, Vixen should be like, her branding should be on fucking shoes that people put on.
Sure.
When Tim goes out on a date, the jacket he's putting on, when he puts it on, it should have a little monogram. It should have a little monogram on there, and that should be it. You don't have to talk about it. Her name doesn't have to be brought up, but you put it in the psychological space of the reader. And then when you say when she walks in, because like me as a reader, there's somebody who's been reading for a long time. Like, I loved her in Justice League, but I'm like, I would not say that I am a fan of Vixen, because I'll be honest with you, I don't even know that she's had her own title. I think there was one mini.
She had one mini pre-New 52.
Yeah, okay,
and then
I was remembering that correctly.
They gave her a one shot when they tried to relaunch JLA during Rebirth, but that's it. And I was a little salty towards T. Franklin recently. She started posting on TikTok recently, and she kind of got mad at a fan who was like, I would love to read Vixen, but there's no Vixen. And then she was like, I've been shoving Vixen in to my Harley Quinn animated series graphic novels. You're not reading it. How the hell is anybody supposed to know that Vixen's in that shit? That's a Harley Quinn book. What are you talking about, T. Franklin? I love you, but you've lost the plot.
And those two characters don't even sync up in my brain. Like, if you were to say Shiva's in there, okay, sure, that makes sense. Like Ivy, sure. But like, that's not a connection I would make in my brain. Because myself, I have tried to give Harley a chance on like 5 different titles, and the only time I've ever been able to stand reading Harley was when she was on Suicide Squad.
Same, very much so.
She's too much. She's too much personality wise, and I get
she's become the Deadpool of the DC universe, and it's frustrating
very much. And it's like I like when she shows up in things. I like when she showed up in Deathstroke. I like when she showed up in Batman. I like all the moments where she's there, because to have that straight man, it works. When it's just her and she has no straight man, it doesn't fucking work for me. I understand there's a whole fan base, and that's fine. Like, obviously everybody has their own shit, but like, for you to tell me I have to read Harley to get Vixen, that's silly. That's silly. Like, the fact that she showed up in Birds, fantastic.
Great.
The fact that Birds is canceled, not fucking fantastic.
Yes.
Like, are you fucking joking? Like that. The fact that is one of the best ongoing series, one of the only all-female series ever. and we can't keep that running. We can't keep
It's
that series running with
it's so
so
frustrating.
many, dude. And you could bring in. I mean, it was kind of like what they did before, right? And I absolutely hate giving Chuck fucking Dixon, piece of shit, garbage person, Chuck Dixon, any fucking credit. But
Yeah.
he did make that book. He did make that book, and he made
Yeah.
the bringing in of all their female characters from throughout the universe
Mhm.
into that book the whole premise. And I'm like,
Mhm.
this is how you, like you were saying, if you have an anthology book, why not have this teen book that is fundamentally about bringing in other characters? Why is this not your ongoing series that
Like
where
there
you
was
can be
a
like, hey, let's bring in Lady Blackhawk or whatever. Let's bring in all these other
Mhm.
characters who people don't know. Like I never
Mhm.
knew about Lady Blackhawk until I read it in fucking Birds of Prey.
There was a great moment recently. I was reading Birds of Prey. I was catching up on it, and there was a great moment where what was it? They're all at a club, and Barda's having to be naked, and they keep sliding in shit to cover up Barda, and it's like oversized shit. And you're loving how the artist and Kelly Thompson have worked together to craft this to where it's the most classiest women lens focused gooner bait, and it's so cool to see this examination of the female gaze in the best way possible, only for them to be like, cancel it. And you're like, what? Like, this is so good. And you're just like you read the book, you read the arc, and then it was so depressing reading Kelly Thompson's Substack about it, where she's so passionate about this. All she's doing is writing that and Absolute Wonder Woman. She said she could make it work. She wanted to make it work, but it just didn't line up. It wasn't in the cards. And I'm just like, just give her mainline Wonder Woman. Just give her mainline Wonder Woman. Don't force her to be on Absolute. Let her craft if I had the chance, I would tell DC, let Kelly Thompson run like an editorial campaign of women writers and put like a Birds of Prey book, a Wonder Woman book, a Sensation Comics book. Make sure that there's less Bat adjacent titles. You want to put the Bat adjacent and super adjacent characters in a book? Call it Birds of Prey. Then you have the Vixen, the Barda, the other characters come in and do things. We gotta stop this oversaturation of Bat adjacent characters and Bat things. You know what you call? You know what you do? You reference James Tynions' Detective Comics run. Like the premise got a whole damn video game. It's called Gotham Knights. Put all the Bat adjacent characters in Detective and call it Gotham Knights. Stop acting like you need a Batgirl book, a Nightwing book, a Red Hood book, a Tim Drake Robin book, a Damian book. We don't need all that. Put it all in one title.
But also realistically, don't put all those out and not give me a fucking Signal book. Don't play with me. Don't fucking play with me. And then whoever the fuck named him that should be smacked in the mouth. I'll be honest with you. Signal is a terrible fucking name. I was mad because
I've heard Snyder talk about it.
The suit is sick. The look is good. He's a great character. I loved We Are Robin. And I was like, that shift, and I was like, oh, he's gonna be on. Oh, he's on the squad now. Oh, this is what's up. And I was like, Signal, and I was like, okay.
And it was so dumb too, because they basically just gave him the powers of the one skinny dude from Sky High, and I was like, "That's stupid." And it was like, like Scott had such a passion for Duke, he loved Duke, and then he was so burnt out from taking on Knights and taking on like freaking Justice League that I just feel like he ran out of steam, and it had ramifications. And it's just like, I still say one of the worst decisions DC ever made was Batman and the Minorities. I mean, Batman and the Outsiders, where it was Batman, Black Lightning, Katana, Cassandra Cain, Orphan, and Duke. And I was just like, this is literally Batman and the Minorities, and I hate it. And even though the book was solid, Jefferson Pierce became the strongest version of himself. It just felt weird having Batman and the Minorities. It was the
same book as the previous run, though. It was just, instead of Nightwing, it was Batman.
It was
the same book. And
It was
instead
just
of
a continuation of Titans series. It was literally just, hey, we're bringing Black Lightning into Gotham Knights, but with less Gotham Knights. And it was just like, this is dumb. Like, just call it Gotham Knights or Detective and call it a day.
yeah, I
Just
mean that's you. I think you really hit it on the head. They really need to have some of these ongoing anthology series. Like if they're not going to go the Shonen Jump route, I mean go the route of having these anthology series. You know,
mm,
like I think you brought up the it was funny too because I put them aside to talk about them, but you brought them up organically. We shifted topics so fast that I forgot to jump on it, but I really wanted to talk about these as well as like from an affordability and from an accessibility concept, right? Like I was saying, I was at Barnes and Noble the other day, and I walked in, and one of the like literally just like took past the magazines. One of the first things I see out of I'm there obviously to look at graphic novels. I poke around the rest of the store, but I'm there for the graphic novels. The
mhm.
first thing I see is an entire table of compact editions, right? This I bought this for my
Yeah.
LCS. I bought this for my LCS a while ago, and it's funny because I was like, this is cool, and I'm actually just gonna give it to someone as a gift. I don't know who yet,
Nice.
but like for me, because I'm such a process junkie, I got to the last page. I'm like, oh, there's no sketches. Like I'm mad about it. So I
Hmm.
ended up buying the deluxe. It's on the shelf already.
God damn it.
I was like, nah, I can't have it not have because
And
like the
it's
artwork is like quietly, right? Quietly. See, and for me, when I first started reading his stuff, it was quickly, and I know it's quietly
Mhm.
now. But like I like his art, and I hated his art when they announced new X-Men, but it like grew
Mhm.
on me,
Yeah.
and then ever since that and getting more into Authority and all that stuff, I was like, oh okay, like I see the appeal and I see what he's doing, and
Mhm.
so like the fact that there's no bonus material, I was like real mad about it. So I was like, I'm gonna buy that again.
Mm.
But then what I saw, and I had heard about these, and I'd seen a couple of them. And this is like Marvel's version, right? So this is the
Yeah.
premiere collection. And can I tell
Mm.
you the variety the difference here is concerning.
Staggering. Yeah,
It's
staggering.
concerning is what it is. Like
Hmm.
two things. The size, like the premise of this is that it's manga sized, right? It's manga
Um.
volume sized, and that's why they did the compact editions that way. This is just a little bit taller. And
Mhm.
it's like an annoyingly larger difference. Like
Mhm.
it's like an inch taller, which is fucking stupid. Like just do the same thing. Like it's obviously working. Just do the same
Uh,
thing, right? And then this is all about accessibility. It's $10, right? It's like a small regular number that like a kid can get $10 and be able to pick
mm.
something up, right? Because like, oh, here, nephew, here's $10 and go do something with it. And they can go out and get this fucking book for $10. This is
Yo.
15. So it's bigger and it's already more expensive. This is a regular cover. This is a regular, you see it, regular shiny cover. This is a bullshit ass, textured ass, like it feels like there's shit on it. It's that fucking, it's the shit that people are obsessed with now. It's like a matte thing. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
I get it. It's not reflective, but also it feels gross in my hands. Why is this a thing? Why can I not just hold this and not feel like I need to like clean my hands off? Like it just feels wrong. The
Mhm.
paper is about the same stock. I would say the DC paper is still a little bit cheaper. So like again, you're choosing for and they're calling it a premier collection, right? So it's
Yeah.
like the paper is a little bit nicer. It's still a cheaper quality than like a standard book, but it's still nicer. And I will say this is the reason I picked it up. On top of I wanted to talk about it, they got the bonus material. They got the bonus
Mm.
material, and this was literally like on my list of books to buy. And this is the was it the Matt Fraction David Ajiron? Like
Mm.
I was like, fuck it, like I'll buy this, and it's got the bonus material. So like basically, I'm getting what I would have gotten anyway.
Oh,
So
for
like
sure.
this is a great buy, and plus I want to have this conversation. But like the fact that it's not just like here it is. Here's the difference. Like
Mm.
why? Just so it stands out more? Well, that's stupid because this got a whole table to itself. Why? Because it's cheaper
Uh,
to produce. They've made a bunch of them already, and people. And look, it's like a standard cover, like clear, specific shit, right? It's like because what does it say? Science fiction. It even says what category it's in. Science fiction fantasy, right?
yeah.
This is like I kind of don't get it. Like why this is like a weird choice. This like has reminds me of Civil War. Like why this bannering?
I feel like it has a couple missteps. I like the unique covers compared to just recycling comic covers. I like the idea of the map because it reminds me of like smaller like smaller compact like Barnes and Noble books that like airport books, like they have a little bit of a matte finish sometimes. But the flaw that I feel like there is yes, the weird Civil War-esque label, but it's not a premiere. It's not a premiere. It's not anything fancy. It's compact. If you don't want to call it compact and copy your competition, cool. Call it like
an essential. They already have the fucking branding.
Yeah, like call it an essential. Call it an essential collection. Call it something that is very like much something that you need. Because the one thing I'll give the TikTok shop goons, like the QVCs as I like to call them, because they're basically just being QVC junkies, is they straight up were saying like, hey, if you want to learn how Bucky became like the Winter Soldier in the comics, read this. And I was like, yeah, that's an essential. Like call it an essential.
And how is this not something that they just aren't doing? How is this not what Marvel's TikTok page is about?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you not on here just selling shit, right? Because this is the other thing is so many people are on TikTok buying shit. I mean, like all these fucking, I did my first fucking shill video, and it's because I really like those fucking boots, and they fit me, and I got big ass feet. So literally, I wore them. I did fucking snow shoveling and shit, and I was like, this was actually comfortable. This is actually like a good, like I want to recommend this. But like everybody's chilling, they're reading the fucking prompter because it gives you a prompter as like what you're supposed to read, and I just turned that shit off. I'm like, I like these. These are fucking good. My feet are still fucking dry. This is the important shit that you need to know. I don't fucking care. But like this stuff is like, this is the easy shit. There's such a big community of comic book people on the thing. Why isn't Marvel doing this? And then on top of that, like give a little incentive to these kids. Let them shill this shit for you. They want to. But no, they're not selling it from Marvel. They're just selling it from themselves, or they got 10 copies or whatever.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is that a lot of the time is that like I've noticed with the TikTok shop, a lot of it is like, oh, this person bought this from this random thing and this person and that person. And it's like, this is a random like bin of Amazon books they got from a bin store, and then they became an outlet. So they're the TikTok shop vendor, not Disney or Marvel. Yeah. And granted, I know that like Marvel Unlimited partners with some people from time to time. I've seen it. I want to figure out how I can get on that list. Right. But it's also like there's something to be said about like there's a couple different dudes. There's this one like I think British kid or Scottish kid. I forget what nationality he is. He's like this ginger dude who will sit here and be like, this is how you get into Batman. And he'll like do like an accordion of all these different trades, and then he'll like sit here and like do cool effects where he sped himself up and flips through the thing and explains how to do this, and like he does a voiceover about it of him just being a weirdo trying to get your attention, and it's so cool. That kid is so passionate. He has 9,000 followers on Instagram. He's like 3,000 on TikTok. He's so passionate. He's worked with Image and stuff like that, and it's like that's the kind of person you need shilling your shit. But you don't want to put the time and effort in having a better press department. You don't have a creator engagement group. That's how we would get the narrative behind piracy to evolve to bring it home for us. Is that if you actually partner with people like me who have a podcast, you have like people on here, these young kids who are passionate about DC and passionate about Marvel, actually vet them and teach them. And then the other thing about it too is it would give these young kids the first exposure to internet etiquette and PR etiquette, because that way they're not making stupid decisions. Like, bro, the stories that I have about the PR Zoom calls with Marvel Rivals PR, where some of these kids have never been in a PR partnership setting, and they're just phoning in, asking the stupidest fucking questions, and you can tell the devs are annoyed, would haunt you. And it's just like, if you would actually work with these kids, like find like work with people like me, have me be a PR advocate, talk to these young kids and train them and make them better, it would form a better generation of creators that don't make the dumb mistakes, but they don't want to put that work in. They don't value that kind of work. They want to use you until you're not valuable anymore. Yeah. And it's like, why not influence that better?
with the amount of budget they have, they should be contacting all these creators like yourself, like myself, like all these people that are out here that are already getting deals with smaller companies. They're already
Yeah.
getting free copies and just getting like, oh, here's like a link that you and I get a percentage or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I get a little cut. Like just these little things. Like
Uh-huh.
certain companies are getting around to it. Certain companies are starting to understand things. Like my wife works for they make like shit for houses, and they're about to do like TikTok like, campaigns and shit. And
Hmm.
I have like a tech review channel, and literally my wife mentioned that because they were like working on a video for the little thing they're about to do, and the guy's on his ball. He was like, "Does he want an affiliate link?"
Hmm.
Just like that. He don't know
Yeah.
me. He's never seen my channel, but it's like, hey, does he want an affiliate link? Because you don't know what'll come of that.
Hmm.
Because all of the distillery books I have heard about, besides like the couple I've seen in shops, have been because the young lady, I forget her name, but the one young lady on TikTok got a partnership with them and has
Yeah.
just been pimping their shit. So I come across her shit and I'm like, okay, tell me about this book. Let's see what's up.
Yeah,
Like,
and like I'm currently trying to talk to the guys from Neon Ichiban Distillery because I want to see them be the future. I saw what they went through with Comixology when I was a kid, and I even said in my email, I'm like, look, but collectively with all the hosts, we have over 10,000 followers. We're trying to grow the podcast following and whatnot. Like we could make a partnership that is great. We just need you to believe in us the way we believe in you. And it's something that's in conversations because I want to like show that the comic book industry is evolving. I just don't think the big two are evolving with it. I think it's everybody else that's evolving.
yeah.
Like you see Vault, you see Dynamite, you see Image, you see Boom. Boom is doing shit that everybody needs to wake the fuck up to. Is genuinely these people need to wake up and understand that you need to like start telling people when your FOC is. Boom has started to do TikToks and Instagram things where they tell you FOC is today.
That's what's up.
Slideshow, like showing the books that are FOC, and it's like more motherfuckers need to do that shit.
Yeah, all the time.
Not
And
like
and don't put it on the creators. Don't put it on
yeah,
the creators. Why is
yes.
Stephanie Phillips having to tell me about the new Daredevil shit? I get it.
Mm.
She wants to. She's excited, which is great. Why is this not an announcement video for Marvel?
And better yet, why is Stephanie Phillips? Why is she having to educate the old heads on how to be TikTok relevant when there should be PR executives teaching them? Like there was this funny thing. What was it? Victoria Monet was talking about how when she was first starting out on Victorious and Team Nick and shit, she didn't know what Twitter was, didn't know what Instagram was because they were so new and she didn't really care because she was acting. That someone from Nickelodeon and Viacom came over to her and was like, "Here's a phone. Here's Twitter, here's a login. Start talking about yourself. Start telling people about what's going on. Tell them when the new episode's coming out. That's what your second job is when you're not learning your lines." And I was like, that's what somebody from Disney or WB needs to come down and tell these motherfuckers is I get you're old as dirt. Hell, I'll even give Sal from Comic Pop and Williamson and Snyder their props. They've been trying to encourage these creators. Get you a little webcam, get you a $40 microphone from Fifine or from Rode or some shit, and start having the conversations with podcasters. Start having the conversations with content creators. There's a press dude from Image who hosts TikTok lives. Like that's how you curb piracy. That's 100%. How you get people to care about your creators 100%. Is actually being able to identify with them because social media is the new what was the term? The stand soapbox, the letters page.
Yeah.
That's what social media is now.
Wizard Magazine.
Yes.
Wizard Magazine was the place to hype new creators and new books. They told you had a place as a consumer of comics, you had a place to go and say what's hot, what's popping, what's selling, right? They had the
Mm-hmm.
numbers. Yeah, they had the numbers by like literally phoning some stores. But like, what's stopping anyone on TikTok from doing the same thing? Hey, just call your local shops, call the shops, call a shop in every state in the 5 states around you and say, hey, what's
Mm-hmm.
selling? You get a top 5. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your fucking weekly content. What's selling
Yeah,
this week? Here's what's selling in Indiana. Here's what's selling in fucking Texas. Here's what's like
that's an idea.
that's
I might do that actually.
you know what I'm saying? Like, the content is so possible, and literally, and you just say, "Hey, I had a talk with this shop in this town. This is what they're saying is hot." Because like I go to shops, and I'm actually going to start a whole review thing about indie friendly shops. But like
Mm-hmm.
I go to shops every time I travel somewhere, and like I was in St. Louis, and I tell you the difference versus the shop down there versus the shop in this area is stark. Like the difference is crazy. He's like, this is a DC shop. He's like, we don't. He's like, we put out a whole thing for the premiere of the Black Panther show. Like this whole table was Black Panther shit. None of it moved. Literally nothing sold. He's like, this is a
Mm-hmm.
DC shop. He's like, the fans around here are DC fans. He's like, I buy 3-1 on everything DC. And it's like
Yeah.
just knowing that as a fan, you could be like, oh, okay, cool. So like if this shop is like really selling heavy DC, like maybe they got deals on Marvel. Maybe they got a few copies that people didn't pick up because they don't have the fans there. Like there's just like things that you could there's another interaction and other things you could learn from that. But like the fact that you don't have these major companies who have these marketing departments and like
Mm-hmm.
multiple managers of marketing, that they don't have somebody just saying like, hey, get on this podcast real quick,
Mm-hmm.
just get on a TikTok and say, this is what's popping, this is why I'm excited about writing this book. Like, because here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing, Jeff Johns 5 years ago was unreachable,
Yeah.
unfucking reachable. But
Yeah.
now Jeff Johns is like, oh, I'm doing my own thing. I actually got to
Yeah.
promote this shit. There's not an engine that is putting out ads, that is putting out like, I got to tell people about Ghost Machine.
Especially if he's gonna write 3-4 books, he has to be like, all right, I have to organize writing 3-4 books plus telling motherfuckers about shit.
Right.
And it's like it's a whole different ball game.
Dude, I mean, the fact the what I've seen, like when I saw him show up and like the whole crew, the Ghost Machine people show up on like the smallest podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
the like you've got 7 episodes podcasts. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, because they're like, any fucking attention matters, because we are now
Mm-hmm.
essentially they've taken their whole fucking catalog and said, cool, we're gonna reset to 0.
Yeah.
Because now when it comes out and it says Image and it says Ghost Machine, if you don't know, you're gonna walk by.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know, you're gonna walk by. Because Superman sells books. Jeff Johns
Mm-hmm.
doesn't fucking sell books. Like Green Lantern sells books. Jeff Johns doesn't sell Green Lantern books. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
Scott Snyder doesn't sell Batman books. Batman sells Batman books.
Right, like, because there's your hardcore people that know, but like,
Right.
there's something about the like that absolute that caught so many motherfuckers' eyes,
Yeah.
and I was like, and like we even talked about it on the show this past week, where someone pitched to me when I was bitching about lack of black representation. Someone was like, Mr. Terrific needs an absolute book, and I was like, why?
What, Angry
Like,
Black Man, the comic book?
well, not only that, like the whole point of the absolute universe is that there's a weird dark twist that makes the whole universe weird. The black experience is already twisted enough. Not
Yeah.
only that, the entirety of Mr. Terrific's origin is traumatic as fuck. He lost his wife and son and unborn child, so he became a superhero. Like he almost killed himself, and a ghost told him not to and gave him purpose.
And
Like,
the whole premise of the character is like coming out of darkness
yes,
to like
and it's just
rise
like,
above it. That's why
and
it's
like
fair play. Like, come
right,
on.
and it's like, okay, cool, you can make him stupid instead of a genius or some shit like that. But even then, it's just like I really need people just to give him a new book, not an absolute book. And it's just I don't know. But like we've been going for almost 3 hours, my guy.
We have. Ultimately, we'll just wrap it up real quick. Ultimately, if you got to do it, you got to do it, and I understand. I personally get it. Like if you have no other options, if you can't even afford the fucking app, if you don't have the library access, if you got to do it, you got to do it. If that's like the only form of media you got, I
Right.
understand.
I
But
feel
like,
like where I'll leave it, like I kind of said on a video recently. It's going to get to a point where DC's working on it and Marvel needs to work on it. But there's going to get to a point where all the apps are available in every country.
Yep.
And they're affordable. And once that happens, my I give a shit meter is going to get real short.
Yep.
Of like unless the economy is so bad that you can't afford $7, I'm gonna stop giving a shit.
And I'll be honest. I mean, even to say like this is an expensive phone, but like phones in general, like plans and shit have gotten more affordable. You could get a Mint Mobile plan, my G. You can get a Mint Mobile plan and pay that $15, $20 a month and not have anything to worry about. And like, look, you may not like, and realistically, can I just be 100%? If you're like, oh man, like, I don't know if I can afford my phone bill this month, maybe comics aren't the answer.
And maybe and to drive it home, stop listening to the TikToks. Stop buying into the FOMO. Stop listening. Like, it's okay to just listen to the conversation rather than being like, hey, yo, I have to be in the conversation.
100%.
And that's where I leave that.
That's a great way to end it. That's a great way to end it because I think that's 100% one of the big reasons people do it is because they want to know now versus later when they can afford it. So yeah, it doesn't have to be right now. At the end of the day, if you didn't read Morrison's X-Men when it came out, you can still read it now, and it's still exactly what it was when it was then.
Most definitely, yeah.
So yeah, that's a great way to end it. Give the people the info. Where can they find you? One more time.
I'm about to say, yeah, like you can find me on socials, J Penumbra. It's an easy way to find me everywhere. I'm not like Twitter. I have to use a 3, and then I'm about to fix that because they opened a new thing where you can buy your username. I'm gonna fix that next week. But everywhere else, the podcast is Comics Unmasked. We just dropped episode 15. I'll announce it here, and I'll have it on socials on like later on this week. I'm interviewing Melissa Flores, the writer of Power Rangers Prime. That's gonna be awesome. We'll have that next Tuesday. Make sure you check that out.
Sick. So make sure you go listen to that after you've heard this. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. We will see you in the next one.
I run it, oh, running sweet. I'm the one you should be running from. Took it to my level just to watch you coming off. What a honey.